you guys doing?
Oh,
Hey!
never mind. Bye, Pond.
I hear a Slayzilla over there.
I'm still working.
Whoa, there's a king on the desk too. I guess, well, Slayzilla is going to be blessing us with his delicious voice, and of course you on your amazing desk host, Cake. Thank you for once again tuning in and actually helping us.
Yes, I'm like a wizard whose abilities only work maybe 40% of the time. We're still working on the transitions, and by we, I mostly mean me, but whatever. But overall, we do have an amazing set between two amazing teams this week, and we have Chief, who's almost always right, except for today, and Slayzilla, who I don't think I've been on the desk with before. Hello!
Hey guys, it's been a minute. I'm excited to be back. I'm happy to be back. It has been a little bit, but Keg on the desk host, man. I mean, we have some good times together. I'm excited. I think we got a good game coming up too.
Ooh, and already we do see a lot of maps banned. This is a far cry from what we've seen on the last set. We see Clubhouse in Oregon this time, which I wish I could say I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised whatsoever. But Slay, let us know why they chose these maps and why the bans are the way they are.
Well, I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's a certain thing called people here only play 3 maps, and they're Clubhouse, Oregon, and Cafe. It might be new to you guys. I don't know, but that's what I'm seeing here. Clubhouse, Oregon makes a lot of sense, man.
Absolutely, but Chief, why are these the banned maps? I thought these teams were great at these maps. All the maps.
Well, some teams are great at all the maps, but the problem is in T3, your map pool is very small. You tend to have no more than 5 maps, which means 2 maps are going to be, well, instantaneously banned for you. And then you're also going to have to incorporate the auto ban map as well. So basically, it means you can take away 2 guaranteed maps per play week. So that means you can play your most comfortable map as well as your second most comfortable map if you win your map ban phases consistently.
Fair enough. I just wish we saw more theme park when it comes to T3. I love theme. It's my favorite map in the pool next to Villa. But Slay, what's your favorite map?
Ooh, that's a good question, man. I mean, gosh, favorite to watch. I think theme park's up there, and I think part of the reason is because we never see it. You know, it's like a fine wine. It just ages perfectly, and it's been aging for a long time, dude. I just wish we could get a taste of it, but one day we'll see more theme.
I'm really thirsty for wine now. I know what I'm doing after the cast. But overall, when it comes to these 2 maps, it's different from other leagues where we have a best of 3. It's gonna be a best of 2 with infinite overtime, and so choosing your maps need to be a little bit more careful compared to some other leagues. And Chief, you know these teams pretty well. Why Club and why Oregon and not Cafe or Villa?
I'm actually concerned about the maps that we currently see because Synthetic is really good on Clubhouse. So if we're looking at the 7 maps that have been chosen for this phase, I would say Synthetic has won the entire map ban phase. And Hostile Action has seen some good rounds here on Clubhouse, but just, again, looking at the maps that we're playing today, I think this is going to be Synthetic showing their good strats today. And that's going to be the big question mark. Are they going to be able to show up today?
Hey, look, as long as they show up physically, that's all I care about. But as long as they show up mentally too, I think that's really important as well. But Slay, oh, never mind. We're gonna go to the teams. Hello, Team Synthetic. We see their stats again, and they do look a lot better than what we've seen some other teams today. And Slay, diagnose it for us. Give us the prognosis of Team Synthetic.
Ooh, well, first off, look at Ace coming in here. We love seeing a little bit of Ace. He's a great operator. Crafty going to be playing that Ace, that Maestro, a little bit of that support role. We've got man. He's on the soft support. We like to see that as well. Of course, Salt on the entry, looking real good. Fig as well on entry, and then Hazmat on support. We've seen Hazmat around. Would like to see him perform a little bit better, perhaps. But honestly, like you said, Synthetic, a very good team at what they do, and what they do perhaps the best in their eyes. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen, but the ratings, we got a couple of them pretty high and then a couple of them a little bit low. So kind of a polarizing team here, but you know, you have a chance every single time you step on the field. So I'm excited to see what these guys will bring to the table.
I love that word, polarizing. And that's a good way to describe Team Synthetic. And honestly, Chief, I think that's a great way to describe their gameplay up until now.
Honestly, their gameplay is going to be changing, though. Apparently, Hazmat is now going to be on entry frag with Ash, so we're going to have to see on how that works on through. But let's actually talk about their opponents for a time being. And well, this is going to be Hostile Action and another roster that has had some struggles, also sitting close to the bottom of the leaderboard. And this is going to be a perfect opportunity for both of these teams to really stretch their legs and start to run today. And well, just Dom has been doing that against every single opponent he's played. He is the only positive rating out of all 10 players that are going to be participating in this lobby. So we're going to have to see what he's able to accomplish in this series.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen too. We do see an IGL that's not being subbed out. In fact, there are no players, as far as I know, being subbed out for either of these teams tonight. Now, we're going to go very shortly to my favorite part of the entire stream. It's going to be the predictions, and I don't remember what you predicted, either of you guys. Chief, of course, we're going to look at Team Synthetic, and it seems like you're a little bit in the minority here, whereas we see a huge tie for the other teams, and of course, Blue Panda goes for a tie as well. But Chief, why do you choose this with your 300 IQ?
I just want to, bloody some noses right now and say that I won yesterday with Visionary. Enough needs to be said there, so I'll just, not kick the dead horse any further. I have faith in Synthetic. Sean has now come onto the roster as the head coach. I don't know if they've actually pulled the trigger as him being the official head coach or if he's just a stand-in until they actually sign that contract. But nonetheless, he has been working with his team on the sidelines and trying to make them, well, more cohesion, because they've been struggling a lot. They haven't been coordinating amongst themselves. And with that new father figure on the roster, I think that is going to be enough to change the entire dynamic of the series and deliver it to Synthetic.
Ooh, very good analysis. You should be on the desk, but I'm curious to know if Slay has a prediction here. If we can go to the other screen, and no, we have Sticula, and I have your names confused all the time, but Slay, now's the moment of truth. Are you going to join Chief in darkness, or you could join the light side and go for the HAS?
The old has. Let's hope they're not has-beens. But honestly, I know, right? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know, man. It's gonna be a real good game, but I mean, I have to go with my good friend Chief. I have to stick with him. I think Synthetic. I think they take it all the way home.
I mean, I've only been wrong twice this season, so it's probably best to pick me.
Oh, that's a bold claim coming out from you, Chief. But one of those times you've been wrong has been tonight. You might be 0 for 2.
True. I did go with a conservative bet of a tie, though. I thought both of the teams playing today, First Attempt and Pride, would both strive on their own map picks, but that wasn't the case. We saw Rizzer with a suppressor slamming anything on the other end of his gun barrel. So that could also be the motif of this game because, well, the entire 10-man lobby has some phenomenally gifted players, especially with Salt and Fig. And now with the roster change with Hazmat onto primary entry, you have some incredibly gifted players. And we're highlighting Dom's, Devils earlier, such strong players. It's just going to be better at the battle of who clicks the most foreheads.
I love it when people click those foreheads. And Slay, are you going to be maintaining that? You're not on the list, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a leeway if there's a rehost or something for you to change your bets, but are you firm and confirmed into this?
Oh man, you know what? It's honestly, it's a little bit of a weaker one. I don't have the confidence of someone like Chief. I'm coming in here with a tentative guess, but I mean, I'm all about it. I'm excited to see how they play, but I mean, just Dom looking real good, but it's going to be interesting. If you look at the stats, they're fairly similar with those ratings. So I mean, it should be a very well matched up game. I'm excited to see how it goes, but both teams have got to put up a fight. And like we're talking about these maps, I mean, we see them a lot, and that means they're both going to be hopefully really good at them. So I'm expecting a good fair fight all the way through. No biting, spitting, or scratching.
Oh, that's the best part. Oh, in the game. Okay, so anyways, we do have an amazing turnout from both of these teams. We do see the stats here for Synthetic and Hostile Actions, but only one of them is going to come out on top. Their stats are really not too much similar, though, and I'm curious to know what the analysts have to say. But Chief, you're going to have to be our stand-in analyst here. You've been around the block a few times. Is there a big difference between these two teams in their play style from their stats?
Statistically, no, but I will say I called Hazmat a prodigy in week number 1, and he hasn't delivered as of yet. So I'm still trying to cash my Hazmat prodigy token. So hopefully he can deliver that today. But to truly answer your question, no, both these rosters are very similar, especially in playstyle. They're a roster that's going to have their mechanical skill up front and then rely on that strategy second. And while that works really well in T3, it's something that would never work in T2 or especially in T1. But here, you can double and triple down on that type of play and be successful. And with Crafty on the roster of Synthetic, he's a great example of that. He's adding a lot of structure to Synthetic, but at the same time, still allowing Salt and Fig to stretch their legs.
Yeah, and I do want to see some leg stretching and making sure that everyone has a good time. And Slay, of course, I'm going to bounce it back to you, though. What do you have to say about these stats?
Well, man, I don't know. They're kind of all over the place here. We do see, I think, a little bit more of a consistent rating, at least with Has style action, excuse me. So I do like that, but I mean, I'm definitely looking at Hazmat to become a prodigy. I would love to see that. Right now, one of the lowest survival ratings I've seen with a 0.09. So hopefully he can get out there. Actually, Crafty is 0.09 as well. They need to listen to Bear Grylls, man. You know what he would say? Improvise, adapt, overcome, and that's exactly what I want to see from these teams here tonight. But it's gonna be fun. I think Hostile Actions might have an edge just on the rating base, but if you compare them to a lot of the other teams, I mean, you can just see that at this point, at this stage in the game, the way they're performing is not in the upper echelon of a lot of these teams. They're not hanging with them. So we need to see something happen and something change with both these guys if they want to start thinking about taking on some of the big names. We got Visionary, Wichita Wolves, In Control, Lycus. All of these teams are scary, and I would love to see them take them on in the future and really feel confident. But with the ratings right now and with those stats, a little bit of work to do.
Look, as long as we don't have another 32 round game, I'm game for anything. Oh man, that was something else. Chief, how's your voice after that?
My voice has survived. I mean, I scream most of the time when I'm casting, so I'm kind of used to having no voice, 3 hours after I cast, waking up the next morning sounding like I smoked like 8 packs of cigarettes. You kind of get used to it. You just stop talking to people, just drinking your coffee, rehydrating, and then just repeating, continuing with that grind, continuing with that grind.
Until the day we die. Yep. Oh, man. I'm curious, though. We do have a lot of upset potential in this set tonight. We did say that for Pride as well, and they probably will go up the ladder quite a bit. But also between these two teams, I believe, like I think it was Slay that mentioned, they're fairly low on the boards. Now, if one of them can win 2-0, that has a good chance for them to at least skyrocket a little bit higher up on the board. Not to number 1 or anything, but even then, that'll be huge. Now, with the predictions we have tonight, do you think we're going to see a huge upset? It's like the inverse of the prediction question.
I could see a little bit of an upset. I mean, it's hard to say when you have teams who you really don't feel like they're performing to their full abilities, like to give them benefit of the doubt and say this is not how they are. So I mean, I definitely think that one of them could just go off and destroy the other. I mean, right now their round differential the exact same with -14. Their everything looks almost identical here. So I mean, there's definitely a good chance for one of them to flip on the other, vice versa. So I'm looking at both of them. I'm saying, do your thing, baby. Do your thing all night.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, you can't argue with that, right? But Chief, you can try your best to argue.
I could, but I'm going to allow that point to stand for the time being. And speaking of standings, let's look at them right now with Visionary on top. And this is a team that has seen a lot of roster changes, a lot of internal turmoil, and so much turmoil that I almost changed my prediction. But I had to stand fast because I knew what was going on between both Wichita Wolves as well as Visionary. And that's the thing. 2 rosters going through roster changes. And that actually seems to be kind of the theme with a lot of teams in Season 4 of Storm Competitive.
So these are not updated statistics anymore. Of course, what you mentioned about Visionary is still going to be right. But I bet you'll never guess who just snuck on that 3rd place spot.
Could have been one of the teams that maybe played today?
No, it's going to be a group of Lions.
Oh, of course. I actually thought it was the Hyenas. You're misreading your script.
Oh, well, hold on. Let me. Oh no, yeah, you were right. But Slay, Now that Pride is number 3, that's going to be amazing to see how that really upsets that top upper half of the entire SCS standings, right?
Mm. Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, you can never doubt a whole Pride Alliance. I mean, I don't know, a little bit of a fun fact here. So if a male lion comes into a new Pride, it'll just straight up kill all the baby lions
Oh,
to make sure that there's no competition. So now that Pride has ascended here, who knows what they're gonna do? I'm kind of nervous for the rest of the teams up there.
this is why I don't allow the lion operator around my children.
That's good. I
You'll
mean, the
take 'em
yellow
out.
meta still
He's not
gives me
gonna eat them.
PTSD.
I mean, he uses his thing, they go off and he eats my kids. Nah, not anymore. Not this time. I made that mistake once. But speaking of mistakes, I'm hoping we won't see too many coming out from either of these teams. The analyst did say before the huge downfall for first action was that they were not able to really capitalize on their mistakes, or they weren't able to fix their mistakes into the second map. Hopefully now we can see a bit of a difference here, and I hope we're not going to see too many mistakes. Oregon and Clubhouse are some of the most common maps ever, but are we going to see upset potential on those very vanilla maps? Go for it, Chief.
Upset potential, I don't think so, because both these rosters are very similar to each other. It might just be a team walking away, but again, I won't call it an upset. I'm expecting 12 rounds per both maps, just judging by their statistics, how they've been playing, not only in season 4, but how some of these teams played in season 3. I think it's fair to say and double down on the fact that 12 rounds is most likely going to be utilized, and it's going to be also the team that's able to play the macro strategies the best, right? If you're playing cache CCTV on Clubhouse, you're going to have to utilize vertical destruction, blowing away those bandit charges or Kaid charges from underneath, whether it's a frag grenade, a Zofia charge, or an Ash charge. And if you as a defender can create a strategy to shut that on down, getting aggressive, killing that Ash player, that might change the entire course of a round and thus change the entire series.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Slay, rebuttal. Go for it. Debate.
Oh, rebuttal. Well, I mean, I do have to agree with Chief a little bit. I'll give him at least a little bit of credit. Where I think if there's going to be a map where you want to upset, it would be one of those kind of off maps. If you wanted to take a team to like Coastline or Consulate, that would be great. You could definitely do a lot of damage because teams can almost specialize in them. You know, they can because it's so hard to take a team to Cafe, Oregon, Clubhouse and say we're just going to beat you down because they are very, very well practiced there. You have to be at this level of play. So, I mean, I honestly, if it's an upset, I would be almost more likely to call it a little bit of a throw, perhaps a little bit of just of a team not showing up, because it really is hard to just do some crazy upsets on maps that are so played.
But we're just about ready to get into the first map, and there we go. You guys will be whisked off away into the gaming world, but we're gonna have to say goodbye to me in a few moments. I do want to say though, you know, follow the casters on Twitter, follow myself, follow SCS, follow everybody on Twitter. Why not? And we will be going into the game momentarily. Of course, I want you guys to talk about those operator bans. They're the best part of Siege. Goodbye.
Well,
adios.
Goodbye, Keg. Thank you so much. We love you on the desk, and let's start things over here on Clubhouse. And as our lovely desk host said, we're going to dive straight into the ban phase. What's Clubhouse? You guys have probably seen this map 1,000 times, which means you've seen the exact same bans 1,000 times. It is usually Thatcher instantaneously removed. Now Maverick tends to join him in the ban club, but actually we've seen a huge divergence in that one particular hard breach ban where Maverick isn't getting as much hate as it used to be. It is Capital. You can call him a pseudo hard breacher because he removes players that are actively bandit tricking, because if you're a bandit, you don't want your toesy woesies to be on fire, and he also has a breaching charge.
Ooh, he's got all sorts of things, man. Look at him. He can open up little baby holes and do all sorts of work, but it will be the Maverick. I went ahead and wrote those both down because it just makes sense. If you are starting on the defense, especially, you want to get those operators off the board because it's really going to enable you. If Thatcher Maverick's left up, the attack suddenly has so much more potential. It's ridiculous. And where there's a Thatcher Maverick ban, who's sure to follow? It's Kaid getting banned out as well. Almost impossible to take his electro claws out. You'd have to bounce a nade in all sorts of crazy directions or something. But I expect that for the final ban, I could say Amira. With Echo just permabanned, it's going to be most likely the Mira. No, it's Malusi. Oh my gosh.
Get wrecked, nerd. Now, we have seen a lot of Melusi bans, but also a lot of Valkyrie bans because she's a pseudo Echo. And as you are highlighting, Echo is currently in a quarantine ban, which means you can't play him in comp because his drones get stuck to the ceiling and can't be destroyed. So it's basically like a free camera that you as an attacker can't see. It's incredibly oppressive. So the dev team was like, Echo, you're out of here. So they threw him over to the rubbish bin, and he won't be a factor in this series and probably not for a very long time. But who will be a factor? That is going to be two hard breachers. Thermite is going to be stepping down for the time being, and his new compadre in crime, that is going to be Ace, filling his niche role for the time being.
Do you think Thermite gets jealous of Ace? Do you think he looks at him and he's like, I used to be you. I used to be that main hard breacher. What do you think Thatcher or Thermite's thoughts are?
I mean, Ace is just a cool dude. He's, throwing the shakas, he's just fun to be around. So yeah, I would say Thermite is probably very jealous of his new hard breacher. So we'll just have to see. I don't really see them together in the same lobby. That would just be weird. They seem to be almost like mortal enemies on attack. And when you see the Thermite team kill Ace, you know exactly why. Thermite wants to be the one and only. He wants to be the hard breacher in your heart. He's allowed Maverick to come into the meta because Maverick can also act as a Thatcher. So they don't really compete with each other as much. And Hibana opens up more top patches than Thermite. So Thermite allows Hibana to also coexist together, just like those hippopotamuses and those birds.
Absolutely, man. They'd be picking all sorts of nasty things out of each other's teeth. Real fun. But Limbo coming out, he's going to be trying to get a little aggressive. Just Dom as well. Everybody getting aggressive these days. Good grief, guys. Really going for it. I like the ha at the end. It just looks like they're all laughing. Look, there's 5 ha's. That's ha ha, ha ha ha. Right in a row. Hostile actions. Let's see if they can make us have a nice little giggle as well. So starting off on CCTV, it's not an uncommon site to go to. Usually your first site and your our secondary site can be switched around. That's Church Arsenal, and then of course the lovely CC with Jim usually taking a back seat, coming out when they need it to. I mean, just a couple days ago, I casted a whole map of Clubhouse where it wasn't until round 12 where Jim Bedroom finally came out. It was kind of ridiculous. It was a whole bunch of CC in church, but I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. Hazmat, like you said, going to be on a little bit of an entry frag world.
Well, you might be all about it, but I'm all about these entry frag kills. Hazmat might be finding one, but Crafty's gonna go for the peak, but the reverse Uno card is Saltbat's gonna get the first kill, and Limbo's gonna be coming up from behind on the flank. He's gonna spot one through the wall, but unable to land any shots with his MPX, and he's gonna be able to find a kill. A huge oversight inside of Synthetic. They should have been able to shut down Limbo, who's on a complete and utter tear. There's no answer whatsoever for Synthetic, who continuously overlooks the micro positioning of Limbo. Now the lobby is going to quiet down for the time being, as Limbo is going to be do-si-doing his way around Master Badger. Finally, Hazmat's going to shut him down. The headshot wasn't necessary because you only need one bullet to kill, as this Dom is also going to find himself on his back. So it's going to be an effective 1v3 for the time being, as Devil's going to be hunting for a kill, as he can hear somebody prone on East Balk. The prone player is going to stand up, and he is going to be standing right back down into his 6-foot grave.
Indeed. So basically, it's a 1v2 here. So Devil's going to have to do a whole lot of work. He's got the operator do it, though. With the smoke, you've got a great amount of utility and the fact that you can deny all sorts of attempts and moves. But with the SMG-11 M590 combination, just a beautiful weapon. The plant going down, that's going to be just Dom finished off. Man bled to death. And now plant down, defuse out. This is tough for Devils. I'm excited to see what he can do here, but it doesn't look very good for the smoke. It'd be a very, very nice play from him. But Eman, man, says no sir to that. Devil's going to be shut down, and Synthetic take round 1 off a very good attack. They're able to right themselves after kind of getting a little bit scared there as Limbo came around with that MPX and just shut people down. But hey, Hazmat the Prodigy stepped up to the plate, took down the Valk, and enabled his team to go ahead and get that round 1 win.
That was a sweaty palms round for both of these rosters, and Limbo was the clutch minister almost being able to achieve his ultimate goal of delivering hostile action to a victory. But as we've learned with politics recently, you can be a minister all you want, which you can be voted straight out of office. And Hazmat was the individual to be able to do that. That was once again a huge oversight on the side of Synthetic. It's imperative that you set up flank drones. Synthetic went for a very linear execute all the way from the west and all the way from the east. So setting up their 180-degree crossfire where they didn't want to drone out the entire map, which is perfectly fine. But you have to have a contingency plan. And the contingency plan is flank drones to try to mitigate the loss and try to grab free information of somebody coming from behind. Synthetic missed that step and they lost 2 of their members because of that. That should have been a 5v1 execute onto the bomb site, but that one small oversight cost far too many players their lives.
It did indeed. Now look at this. A very interesting strategy coming out for downstairs. Where's the Jaeger? Where's the Jaeger? No lamb sauce here because he's gone. This is going to be a very roam-heavy strategy coming out from Hostile Actions. One that I haven't seen in a little bit. It's been a lot of turtle recently, so I'm excited to see how it's going to happen with Mira basically chilling downstairs by her lonesome. She's going to be hoping and praying that nobody... And by nobody, I mean all 5 members of Synthetic just come rushing down dirt. That would be a tragedy. Because the main idea of having a strategy like this, where you want to make sure that the roam is heavy, you want to make sure the roam clear is taking a lot of time as well. The idea is you waste so much time, you maybe get a nice little kill, you rotate back down to site, and by golly, there's 30 seconds on the board, and it's a 4v3 or something like that. That's what they're hoping for. So if Synthetic can read into this and really get a good start and say, hey, you're going to have all these roamers, guess what? We don't care. There's one person on site. Goodbye, one person on site. So long. So let's see how this goes. Could be a really, really good round because already a minute's passed away and, well, not too much has happened at all.
Well, that's called Utility Consumption Simulator, because you only need 5 seconds. That 5 seconds is going to be spent rushing straight into the bomb site. An impact grenade only takes 1 second of airtime travel, and that's going to be a set of X-Cairo pellets instantaneously nuked away, and the retake of Kitchen. That is going to be the macro strategy for Hostile Action. But Hazmat, the new win streak gunner, is going to say, not today, as he removes the head of Just Dawn, the highest rated player on Hostile Action. Unbridled aggression is going to put Hostile Action just a little bit worse for wear, as you're going to have to take a deep breath as we approach the halfway mark.
Hazmat right now is going off. The Prodigy call has been answered, and now Saltbad is moving on up as well through dirt. Wants to get a nice little angle, but instead the angle will be found. The Commando 9 takes him out. 4v4 situation. Your Zofia is now dead. Minute to go, and what a shot, but it's going to be refragged immediately. Axon finds one, but Crafty will say Type 89 says goodbye, and a beautiful, beautiful refrag with about a minute to go, quickly chopping down. It's a 3v3.
The Type 89 does say mine as it gets a free kill. It's going to be looking for a second one, but the mine is going to be the death for Limbo. The man that has shown he has phenomenal mechanical skill and a mastery of the map, especially with his micro positioning, as the defender is going to be rotating all the way to their bomb site, hanging out and trying to play time. But the attackers are going to do the exact opposite, dropping down the kitchen hatch. Fig is going to find 1, make that 2 for him. And once again, Limbo is going to have to find 2 impact frags in this round, as the bomb is going to start to go on the deck. But is there a cross cover from the top hatch? For the time being, the answer is no, as the bomb is confirmed on the deck. Limbo's going to give away his position with some early pre-fires, and he's now stuck in a 180-degree crossfire. There's almost no hope for him this round, but the player in the top hatch is not actively playing it at all. This could be an absolute free kill. Finally, bullets are above her and start to rain down, and a lot of damage to be taken from this vigil, but not enough to kill him as of yet. The clock continuously working its way on down, no longer really in favor of the defense whatsoever. And finally, shots exchanged. Fig is going to find a 3K in this round. Synthetic goes 2 in a row.
Ooh, man, very good job there. 2 attacking wins is incredibly nice, especially when we say that there's no Thatcher or Maverick on the board. But you made a tweet recently, Chief, and I really like this tweet. It was talking about how in NAL, a lot of the map stats have been, well, more even than ever before. Defensive-sided maps have become more sided maps. It's kind of whatever goes. So do you think this is indicative of Synthetic really taking it home, or do you think we could see the exact same first 2 rounds for for the old HA as they switch on over hostile actions. Do you think they could take a couple of wins on the attack as well?
So this is actually one of the maps that's still at a 65% win rate in favor of the defense. And the problem with it is, if we draw the parallel to Villa, Villa's been a map where the attackers can actually set up a full 360-degree crossfire. Let's think if you're taking planes in games. You can have somebody set up in bookshelves, you can have somebody set up in study, gun vault, as well as landing. There's your 180-degree crossfire, and you can lose one of your attackers in the long run and still execute through that meta. The problem with Clubhouse is there's only certain bomb sites where you can truly do that, and the area that you have to set up those 360 crossfires really aren't as strong. If we're taking basement, for example, you can push in through dirt tunnel as well as blue. There's your 180-degree crossfire. You come down central stairs. Technically, you could call it a 360-degree crossfire, but you don't have four angles of attack. You only have three. That's gonna be from blue, through dirt tunnel, and central stairs. Now, you can make the argument that dropping Moto will deliver that, but you're still going to have the exact same area of coverage that you would through central stairs. So it really doesn't pay as much dividends as you could have it in Villa. And the same thing can be said both for Gym as well as Cache CCTV because of the lack of buffer rooms.
Very true. What a good analysis as to why the maps are beginning to maybe shift a little bit, but certainly Clubhouse is going to be the dub house for many a defensive team. So things looking a little bit rough for hostile actions as we return to Church Arsenal for the second time in a row. This time, they do bring the Jaeger, which is nice to see, but the vigil they brought is quickly dismissed and dispatched by so bad the Zofia, the M762. One of my favorite guns in the game. I don't know what it is about Zofia players, but they make magic happen time and time again. It's so fun to watch, and well, we might see it here. Zag down early, which is unfortunate for him. The Vigil didn't do a great job of preventing any roam denial, and the clear came in quickly. Devils with the 416. Ooh, yeah, excuse me. I can always get the R4C and the 416 mixed up. There's too many 4s and Cs in there, but beautiful weapon. Let's see if the Jaeger can do some damage. Still about half the round to go, and of course, as we mentioned, utility drain simulator is going to be going, but Devils says maybe we'll take a break here. He's going to be starting to move on up, wants to find somebody lacking, but the problem is, will anybody be caught slacking?
Well, gun names do work out well, but the only thing you really need to know is the sound they make, because all guns go burr. Somebody is going to learn that the hard way. I believe that was Hazmat that's going to take that casualty, but the bomb is going to start to go on the deck. A huge oversight by the defense is going to cost them a 45 seconds guaranteed in this round. Where on earth is the answer back from hostile action as they're playing far too passively? There's another kill for Axon, but what is it going to mean? It's going to mean a 2K for the Orange team as the defenders are now going to turn into the attackers, pushing their way back over to their bomb site. And just like that, Synthetic in round number 3 crumbles with their post-plant scenario. Not enough crossfires whatsoever. It's going to be a free defuse for hostile action.
What a great job there, man. I mean, if any of those fights had gone differently, if Synthetic came out alive of any of them, which they didn't, it could have been a little bit of a different story, but they did a great job of staying calm. A lot of times you see that plank go down and you'll freak out. You'll be like, oh no, what do we do? But they said, guys, it's okay. We just got to do a nice little retake. We'll kill everybody, and then we'll get the defuse. And that's exactly what they did. A very, very good job to them, as we'll now head to our tertiary side of Gym. They could head back to CC. They don't want to yet. They want to give it a little bit of a rest and break. They had a rough time on round number 1. So they're going to say, let's go Gym bedroom. Let's do it. And they don't bring the castle. And I don't think that's too bad of an idea. He can definitely drain some utility. But at the end of the day, you're getting some pains up for a UMP 45, which certainly is not the bestest of guns in the game. So let's see what they bring instead. They've got the Valkyrie, like you're saying, a little bit of a ghetto type drone there. Likes to be the Echo. And then the Goyo coming out as well. Used to have 3 shields. Used to have a TCSG that dished out like 80 damage per shot, but now is just a shadow of his former glory.
I love that description of Valkyrie. I also call it the Defiance Special, and they will be playing tomorrow. That's Lycus Empire. Defiance is known for one thing, that is Valkyrie runouts on Clubhouse. I believe he says he has 36 of them throughout this map. And well, you never want to be on the receiving end of that MPX, at least when Defiance is playing. So has Limbo done his homework? Is he channeling his inner Defiance? Is he going to be doing the most banana runouts that you've ever seen? Right now, he's going to be hanging out very close to his bomb sites, just saying hi to his mates, trying to get them more hyped up after that amazing retake in round number 3.
You just don't see retakes like that every day, man. Once a plant goes down, there are certain maps where retakes are virtually impossible. Talking about Consulate. Consulate, once you get the plant down, it is so difficult for the defense to retake. Here in Clubhouse, it's a little bit more manageable. And of course, the reason being is there aren't a lot of good places to kind of like hide from. You have upstairs, perhaps just in the kitchen, but I mean, we saw that sledge get taken down quite quickly. But on Consulate, you put a plant down, you go outside. They have to be very, very aggressive and give up a lot of cover to take you down. Here on Clubhouse, it's a little bit more manageable to get a plant down and then say, okay, we can get the retake. So I like what they did there. They didn't give up themselves. It could be a 3-0 situation. Instead, it's a 2-1. And Saltbad once again going to find the first frag. It's Axon this time going down. Your Jaeger player dropped, but the refrag comes out as Devils finds him. But immediately the Type 89 says Type 80 mine once again, and will shut down the poor boy himself.
Hey, that's my joke. I copywritten that. It's, you know, you see the T and M after that? I guess that's trademark technically, not the C with a little circle around it. But nonetheless, I would have to charge you a royalty for that. So that's going to be about, we'll call it $6.55. I think that's a fair trade. And speaking of fair trade, so far Synthetic has been able to do exactly that. When one of their players drops onto the ground, they're able to recapture that kill. And as I say that, I'm going to be jinxed into oblivion every time I utter something about Synthetic. They do the exact opposite of it, and Crafty's gonna be put on the ground as he is now dead in this lobby, and Hazmat was 10 seconds behind, and he's gonna actively challenge the logistics office, but he's gonna end up rotating away almost, but as he decides, no, I actually want to challenge Logi.
Challenging the old logistics, as we might say the full name of it. Hazmat right now has been a pretty solid fragger for them. You'd like to continue to do so. Yeah, I like him on the entry. He's been doing quite well for himself. It is a 3v3 situation, but time is beginning to tick-tock away. It's getting a little bit scary now with just 30 seconds to go. Limbo waiting for anybody to come through that window. If they do, the MPX will say hello, and they will most likely say, goodbye, it's been nice meeting you. So Hazmat needs to be very careful about this. Does he have the intel? Does he have the knowledge? I don't know, but with time draining so quickly, Fig is going to get the plant down, typing furiously, but you can't type if you're dead. Beautiful job from below is Limbo, and now it's all upon the last man of MN. Is he, with that that 552, is going to be doing all he can, but immediately shut down as Just Dumb says no. And all of a sudden, we're tied up 2 rounds Synthetic, 2 rounds to hostile actions.
I thought Dom said, I'm Dom, as he sent bullets down range. And you can see that QE spam as he misses the player typing away on his laptop, realizing, wait, that guy probably shouldn't be doing that. I think he's trying to disarm my bomb as he re-challenges that position. And honestly, great read off the side of hostile action. They had a phenomenal control of the map and an understanding of where Synthetic would be pushing from. And Valkyrie read into it perfectly. She didn't need her nitrocell to deny the plant. She just needed to send bullets through the floor. And that small oversight, once again from Synthetic, is stemming from the fact that they don't have the appropriate drones throughout the map. Probably the most important flank drone you have to have on Clubhouse is either the top rafters drone of the bar or the one that's buried underneath jukebox by those little tables. You have to have one of those 2 drones always placed throughout this map, and if you don't, plays like that are going to constantly happen.
It's true, man. It really is important to make sure that you are setting up right. We talk about the checklist a lot, and it really is important, man. It might sound boring to have a checklist, but it certainly can change the entire way your game is going. So perhaps Synthetic could do a little bit better of a job on checking all their things off. Back to CCTV. The first time we were here was round 1. It was a quick Synthetic win. Good job from Limbo on a little bit of a flanky, but unfortunately, he was shut down. No flanky hanky-panky for him. After 2 kills, it would be Hazmat shutting him down. Let's see if that's going to happen again. Still, Hazmat on the Ash, no longer going positive anymore. In fact, only three, actually still three of synthetic guys going positive. Of course, kills don't matter the most, but compare that to the 4 on hostile actions, and you'll start noticing that things are leading a little bit more to the defense here. And if they want to get the classic 4-2 split, they'll have to go on a 4-round win streak, which would be quite impressive.
Look at the way Hostile Action is currently playing the stock side of the map. They're trying to actively challenge it, and we're actually talking about this during the pregame, where you have to utilize that vertical pressure to shut down the defenders, but the defenders have their own reverse Uno card. They can actively contest that, and the reinforcements, deployable shields, and ADSs over there are going to work perfectly for that particular scenario. But something else I don't think Hostile Action was entirely prepared for was the fact that Garage has been fully relinquished by the defenders, which means they're going to flood on through. That is one of your 90-degree crossfire scenarios that are set up. You still have to deal with the vertical pressure, especially with Limbo with that Nitro Cell.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, let me tell you something right here. If you have an attack that is multi-dimensional, you are going to succeed way more often than if you have an attack that comes from one angle. So look at this. Look at all the holes open on a CC right now. This is going to be so difficult, but Limbo says difficult schmifficult. Takes the first kill. That's going to be your sledge going down early. By early, still about half the round gone with a minute and almost 10 to go. Things can start heating up a little bit, but we need to see some good kills come out. And there's one, but immediately refrag Devils going off for the UMP, takes down Crafty and Hazmat. You might have a lot of site openings, but do you have the site control? Saltbat says, maybe we do. It's a 2v3, but immediately shut down by Zag. And there it is. Limbo shuts down the Fig World. And just like that, it's going to be another round in the books for the old Hostile Actions. They're looking real good. And at this point, I think they could take the 4-2 half after a very poor start.
Now, Synthetic has accomplished their goal. They have won 2 rounds. They've looked very good on attack. And the problem is, I think they've gotten to their own head. They expect them to win every single round in every one of these engagements, where they're at the point where they're starting to rush, skip steps, and that whole step skipping is just costing them bodies. You have to be very passive, think about your decisions, and then go for execute. It is going to be on Crafty to IGL's team to success. And I don't know exactly what type of IGL Crafty is, but right now, just looking at the Synthetic roster, it looks like Synthetic needs an IGL who micromanages, who is calling exactly where every single drone is going, where every single piece of utility is going. And Crafty playing this flex support style operator is a perfect position to be in, where he's going to be calling for those X-Cairo pellets, and he just has to call it internally with himself, but he's going to be close enough to the action to rely on Hazmat as well as Saltbad to be able to participate actively in Utility Consumption Simulator.
Now, which version is that? Is that 2020, 2019? Are we up to date here? Because I know sometimes the farming simulators, man, the newer versions, they just cost a ridiculous amount of money. That's why I usually like to go for 2012 farming simulators. So we'll see what kind of simulations they run in here. If it'll be just like the simulations, as the clones of old would say. But at this point, now I want to play Battlefront 2, man. That was a good game. Can we have a Battlefront 2 competition instead? Rainbow Six is dying, man. Come on. We need to go back to 2005 here.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars Battlefront, PS2, that was the shiz, man. That was so much fun to play. That's my childhood was spent there. I'm a boomer, I know. That's how I started off playing comp, I guess, if you want to look at it that direction. But how will the attackers elect to push? They're pushing from a very linear scenario, all from one direction. And that could be a terrifying thing because you need the majority of the map to work your way into control. You're going to see a role change for Limbo as he's going to now be put on an M590 over in dirt. He knows that there's a member of the attackers in Synthetic working their way to dirt, so that's going to force Hostile Action to call for extra reinforcement, and the head of Devil's going to be spotted out, and the head of Limbo is going to be instantaneously removed. That's going to send Devil to the hills as he may be rotating to his throne of fire as he wants nothing to do with Saltbad and the M762.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. these weapons with M's in their names are just absolutely ridiculous. We got the M590, the shotgun of death, but the M762 would win out. The Alda doesn't have an M in it, but it certainly does have many rounds. Still, though, it'll be the AK-12 winning out, the AVA weaponry, and well, that's going to go all the way to synthetic. Now they're up in a 5v3 situation. Zag is tagged up a little bit, and he's going to be just hovering around 50 HP. He's got the MX4 Storm, though. Or he could bring the ACS-12, but who will be bringing the gun of death is Fig World taking down Devils now, and Hazmat jumps in, acts him with a double kill as they just jump right into the arms of the MP5K wielding operator. No, he does have the ACS-12. Oh my goodness! Oh, that is so amazing. I swear I saw the mag go to the defense. The ACS-12 is coming out. It's one of my favorite freaking shotguns of the game because it has 31 rounds, 31 shells, but it doesn't matter because the M762 will say, who needs shells when we have regular old bullets? What a job going out.
I wanted to see the ACS-12 kill. I wanted it so badly. I actually have a bet out right now. If you get a spawn peek with the ACS-12, I will shout your Twitter out on stream. And so far, the only individual that has actually attempted this challenge is actually Hazmat, the member that's currently in this lobby. He's tried it for the past 2 play weeks, and the only thing that's ever happened to him was him getting completely shut down. Now, Zag hasn't reached out to me trying to get that reward, and well, maybe that's why he lost that engagement. And honestly, I want to see more ACS-12s in the competitive meta, simply because, as you highlighted, 31 bullets of sadness and despair. It is like a discount Alda that has more range and more oomph behind it, and it's just fun. Plus, you get a 2-time scope, and you can spawn peek people into oblivion. And speaking of unique strategies, my friend, I currently see a glass.
Wazzy Wazzy enters the battlefield here. Just Dom on him. What a weapon, man. What a great little gun, the DMR of dreams. And he did recently get unnerfed. Some would call that a buff. I call that an unnerf. And he's a little bit better at doing what he does better. He can see through smoke without having to completely stop for 10 minutes, which I think is a good direction for Glaz. He was very OP for a while. He got nerfed literally into oblivion where you would not see him at all. And now maybe he's back a little bit. So I'm excited to see what Just Dom can do here. What a weapon coming out. And I'm excited to see. I mean, I would like to see perhaps a Ying come out and just straight up have the Glaz Ying meta back at it again. That would be fun, but a good start will be the Glaz testing the waters, hostile actions. What are you going to do with it?
So I wonder what Rainbow Six Siege Oblivion looks like. Is it just a bunch of Lord Tachankas sitting on their turrets, just shooting bullets around and having you, well, turn deaf almost, and that's why sound bugs are actually generated, if you don't know? Or is it just an empty pit of blackness where you have nothing other than just listening to all of the, you know, crying kids about all the nerfs and whatnot that happens, you know, the loss of ACOGs and things like that? And speaking of ACOGs, you know, the German operators have a shotgun, and that shotgun really does need an ACOG. So the M870, please give it ACOG, Ubisoft. That's the most important thing in life. And well, the most important thing in round number 7 is the fact that the East Breach has now been opened up.
The old East Breach opened up. Man, he is struggling to take down those drones. A little bit of good drone work coming out from hostile actions. 10 of 3-3. I do think that is a nice job from Synthetic, especially if they can capitalize on the defense here. When you go 3-3, all you got to do is a 4-2 and you take the win. So it's a little bit tougher when you're talking about the attack. But I mean, hostile actions, like you said, have opened up extremely quickly. Half the round to go, and well, if they get the execute planned out correctly, this could be huge. We do have to notice that our lovely Thermite is making an appearance, the 556, at it again. Love him, we adore him, and now he's back ready to do some work.
Well, temporarily, that's going to be the case, as the attackers are now going to be trying to open up this construction wall, but Crafty has rotated downstairs as he's going to be very quietly walking his way to a nitro cell position. but a drone might have just scared him away, prompting him to change his micro-positioning location, and Limbo's gonna be pulling the pin of his frag grenade. It looks like it's perfectly timed, perfectly aimed, and indeed it will be, as Hazmat's gonna find himself in an early grave. This is gonna force Hazmat, or force Crafty to rotate on over and try to actively contest that position, as Salt has also been droned away as he tries to actively peek the garage window. He's going to be the loser in the exchange, however, as he's going to find himself under 25 HP, and the attackers are going to get the all-clear call to push in from construction. But is their 180 crossfire going to be good enough? Because Axton's going to be sneaking his way through the breach. The M590 is going to find its first casualty, as nobody expected him to be down there. The question mark's going to start to fill the lobby, as it's only a 4-man roster for the time being, as the bomb is going to have to go down on the deck. But where is it going? There's no place to put it down because the defenders have the entire bomb site locked on down. 0-0 on the clock as the bomb is going to be confirmed on the deck. Zag with a perfect cross cover as he's going to find almost the second one. Pistol in hand, he will confirm it.
Dude, that was so sketchy. I mean, a single bullet to the Hibana's head would end the round, but luckily she was in a nice place, and what a job. What a beautiful, beautiful job. The amount of kills that came out, like, at the same time, just ridiculous. We love to see it. Absolutely insane. And, man, back to CC. Synthetic will go. They've lost the edge, though. They're no longer in the lead or tied up, and, well, that's going to be a little bit rough for them. So, at this point, Hostile Action is looking very hostile indeed. They're looking scary. They're looking real good. And so I would love to see more ACS 12, man. I mean, the Alda got nerfed. It only has so many rounds. The ACS 12, unlimited slugs. Just everybody who needs the Alda, ACS 12, superior weapon. 81 rounds, 31 slugs. You tell me which is better. I'm going to pick the ACS every time.
That's a great point, my friend. I have to agree with that. You know, honestly, the Alda might have a faster fire rate, has 82 bullets. But what is a bullet compared to a giant slug round that's going to be flying through the air, supersonic, and anything on the receiving end is just going to get impacted into an absolute oblivion. And remember, as we were talking about, oblivion is a place where you don't want to be because it's going to be filled completely with Lord Tachankas shooting on their turret. Now, here in round number 8, we're going to be going over to the basement. And the thing is, Hostile Action is going to have to really rely on their hard breach capacity because they're going to have to open up those top patches and then rely on those smoke grenades and the glass to push on through. This might be one of the few times that you can actually successfully go into dirt, especially with 2 sets of smokes.
2 sets of smokes. That's a total of 4 smoke grenades. That's a whole lot of smoke. And well, actually, we have 7 different kinds of smokes on the board here. 7 is an incredible amount of smoke. It's an incredible amount of denied visibility. And in the case of smoke, denied breathability, because that stuff will shut you down. I like seeing smoke when we come down to church. I think it's a good idea. I really do, because when he's on dirt, he can shut down the entire lane. You have got to go through the smoke if you want to challenge him. And he's got a shield to bring. He's got the SMG-11, the M590. The dude was built. He fits like a puzzle piece right into that slot. And oh my goodness, shots already coming out. The P10 Roni wielding Mozzie is tagged up to about 30 HP. So bad, 8-6 right now, looking real good. But Limbo is 9-4. Still remembering his first 2 kills coming out back on round 1 with that flank. Just an amazing job. Too bad it didn't do more.
Saltbad is going to be trying to do his own Limbo impression, though, spraying vertically through the floor, hoping that his bullets land. But there's nobody anywhere near that zip code for the time being. And we're highlighting the attackers doing their due diligence, trying to rely on opening up top patches. And as of now, they're having absolutely no problem doing that because Kaid was Hostile Actions banned. So they're really relying on the ban phase to facilitate this execute in round number 8. Now, they have achieved the majority of their checklist, but here comes the hardest component of the checklist. It is actually going for the execute. A lot of attacking rosters are very comfortable dry running through the map, moving through the motions, but how will the motion in the ocean actually work out for them?
The motion of the ocean is so important, and I'm excited to see how it's going to go. Right now, it still is a 5v5, but the minutes are ticking down. In fact, there's only a single minute. Hazmat had 2 kills in that opening half, has been unable to find any after that, which is unfortunate for the Ash R4C wielding operator. But now it's going to be the first frag. The M762 rings out. Axon takes down Emin. Crafty with the refrag onto Devils, but down goes as Crafty will be shut down from just dumb. That OTS doing damage, not a weapon that we get to see a whole lot. Saltpad with a refrag, but Saltpad goes down. Oh, Glass, you're doing him dirty, baby. P10 Roni off the board. Plant has gone down. It's the Alda and it's the Smoke. It's the Maestro and the M590 SMG11 combo. Perhaps the best combo for the end game, but looks the wrong way, and that's going to be no bueno. It's just the Alda, always has been, and well, this is going to have to be a really good job with time ticking down. As long as the offense doesn't throw this away, this is an easy win going to hostile actions, and it'll be a 3-5 in favor of them. The disable is going to be attempted, but he's going to have to be pulled off of it. Shots going down, actually misses it, pulls out the sidearm, and the sidearm will win it down. Just down. Beautiful job.
A phenomenal execute once again from the side of hostile action. And well, maybe I spoke too soon earlier. We are saying that maybe this map is going to be going attacker sided, and at least for the first 6 rounds, it definitely was kind of teetering back and forth between attacker sided and defender sided. But now with hostile action moving into round number 9, they're showing that they have a mastery of how to actually attack on this map. And that's the thing. This is hostile action's map pick after all. So they're showing that they have a phenomenal understanding and really trying to abuse Glass in this current meta. Because as you're talking about, he has that reverse nerf where he can still be walking and see banana people on the receiving end of his scope.
The old switcheroo, Glass to Glass, man. That's how you throw him off a little bit. They'll never expect it. So Glass has been coming out a while. I wonder if we'll ever see a Warden. I mean, really, Warden's main usage, and I say usage with extreme tentativeness, because he really doesn't get used at all, but it's mostly we see him, it's to counter a game. But I mean, that's either smoke. Maybe that would be cool to see. He brings the MPX or the M590. The MPX does have the 1.5 sight, unlike Valkyrie, who only has the lovely 1.0, the hollow red dot or reflex option. So maybe it'd be cool to see. Maybe he could do a little bit of peering through the smoke, like a great, wonderful wizard of old or something. I don't know. He's a psychic reading the smoky mist of tomorrow, but he's not here for us. In fact, we got through my with the AGE 2. I see a lot of MP5K because of the 1.5 side, but I'm all about that attacker rifle on the defense.
Honestly, we've actually seen a lot more of the use of these carbine rifles, especially with that AUG 2 as you're highlighting, and maybe, just maybe, there might be more in the future Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, technically, the most used weapon on defense is a 416, which is a carbine in itself, so that might just get a little bit extra love. Now, I guess the MPX would be, what, a PDW, if we're going to be technical? So yeah, it wouldn't be a carbine, it'd be a PDW, as we try to theory craft our way into how operators are receiving their primary weapons. Now, hostile action, they're going to have to, once again, drone out the entire map, particularly not only just master bedroom, but the areas below it, because Crafty was playing this construction comp patch with a nitro cell. And, well, explosive utility also in favor of the attackers, as we're going to see a frag grenade go downtown, but it's not going to be cooked just enough, as it can be a little bit too raw as it lands underneath the floor.
This nade is raw! As Gordon Ramsay. I've been watching a lot of MasterChef recently. I don't know. It's been fun. Me
too.
Really? Oh, that's awesome, dude. I was watching. I started from like season 1. I was on season 2, and my boy Ben Starr got kicked out, so I stopped watching out of rage. I rage quit MasterChef, so I'm excited to move on to season 3. Poor Ben
Starr.
Dude, he was my man's, dude. He made a shepherd pie that was dope, but he got kicked out. Unfortunately, we're not here to talk about MasterChef. We're here to talk about Rainbow Six Siege. And I'd love to start a podcast up with you sometime, Chief, where we can just go through the MasterChef details and really learn. Joe's my favorite judge because he just stares at him so viscerally. But what also will be staring viscerally is that lovely Glass. He's looking so scary, and they've already got that lovely east wall opened as well. And now, with less than a minute to go, all they must do is think about how they want to get the attackers out and themselves in.
Well, temporary control for hostile action, but the most important scenario is the fact that it is currently a 10-man lobby, and everybody is alive and active. But how long will that happen, as the attackers are going to have to eventually pounce onto the bomb site? The defenders are going to be going hunting through the main breach, but it's going to be Fig thinking just a little bit better about his life, as he's going to be rotating away. The wide swing from Exton's going to be a free kill for him, as Saltbad is shut on down more or less for free. They say Peaker's advantage is just too strong, and sadly for Synthetic, they're going to learn that the hard way. Hey, man's going to find a free kill. Glaz might be able to see through smokes, but same thing with the bullets. 1 second left on the plant, as we guarantee a post-plant situation, as things won't look well at all for Synthetic, as it's just a 2v4.
Oh my goodness, man. These kills are looking beautiful. Gravity, what a shot. Now a 2v3. You've got the AUG 2. You've got the lovely SMG 11. And this is going to be a tough win, like you said. And Devil shutting down Crafty means it's all upon Fig. This isn't going to go his way at all, is it? This is not a good situation to be in. And it'll be the 5.56 to shut him down. Fig World has left the planet. He is no longer in this world. This isn't Fig's world. We're not just living in it. In fact, Zag might have taken over. He's taking control, and I mean, you can't take much better control than going into match point. 3 rounds in a row will have to be successfully won by Synthetic in order for them to come back and take us to a potential infinite amount of overtimes.
Well, like I was saying earlier, whenever I talk and say nice things about Synthetic and how well they're doing, they just start to crumble. I seem to be the kryptonite of poor Synthetic. So AJ, who's an owner of Synthetic, you should probably just fire me from Storm Competitive Series, because I seem to just curse you every single time. Synthetic was playing well. They had a good understanding of how to attack this map, but the problem is with their defense, they're playing so far back, they're playing so passive, that's allowing hostile action to set up around them and slowly start to work the defense closer and closer, where the defense has no other option of getting aggressive, because the attackers know their backs are against the wall. Synthetic is a team that is mechanically gifted. All 5 of those players can collect heads, and the fact that Synthetic isn't trying to utilize that in a strategy is really concerning to me, because after all, that's how they won 2 rounds in a row, round number 1 and round number 2. They were just better in their exchanges.
Exchanges are very important. You gotta be better, and you gotta be able to do your thing. So now the flawless rotation has come out. Well, it could come out for the offense if we see a gym victory, but 3 rounds in a row is a very nice job. And that's what I like about Hostile Actions here. No one wants to laugh like ha. We like ha ha ha. And that's what Hostile Actions have given us twice. They've won 2 times 3-round streaks, and I think that's beautiful, man. I was looking at my notes, and it was just a bunch of laughs, and I thought that was beautiful. So let's see if they can make it a 4th one, or will Synthetic shut them down? They're going to have to do a whole lot of sinning here if they want to take this dub, and they are on the defensive side. If any side can do it, it is this side. And oh, Crafty, what a shot with the UMP 45. Will take down Devils, but unfortunately, the pressure might already be on heading back into cash. He's taken just over 75 amounts of damages here, but Axon as well, not looking too healthy.
But the thing is, the attackers have lost probably one of the most important operators. That is going to be the Hibana, especially since Thermite has already used one of his charge. And speak of the devil, he shall appear. Zag is going to get a free kill on that soft support, or that hard support role. And that's going to force Crafty to head for the hills, as he's going to concede the entire side of cash. He's going to go for a run out. He's going to win his gunfight, but the Claymore is going to say, no more pain and suffering for you. And Salt's going to get another kill to return that favor, as it's going to be attackers very worse for wear with a -1 advantage. Now you do have Zag as well as Limbo, 2 phenomenal players, especially players that have a lot of clutch petition. But the thing is, what will Saltbad be able to do?
Well, Saltbad will be able to die. Unfortunately, Limbo takes it down. The L85A2 rings out and finds the head. You said it was a rough situation in a 2v3. Well, now they've moved it out to a 2v2. And it's kind of cool to see that all the year 1 operators are here left on the board. There's still a minute to go. And I really think it's impressive how well the year 1 operators have stood the test of time. I mean, 4 of the 5 guys for Synthetic's defense, year 1. just beautiful. So I'm excited to see how these remaining operators will go out and do their work, because now is the time to make things happen. It's going to be a lot of work for both sides, but the defense beginning to gain an inherent advantage, especially with Fig getting the double kill and finishing it off. What a beautiful job. I called it as it was happening because I'm a prophet. I see things before they happen because I know how Fig likes to play, and he likes to play to win. And that's exactly what he did. Synthetic, stay alive. It's now going to be a 7-4. They need 2 more rounds to take us to OT.
Honestly, that's the problem with the current meta that we find ourselves in, right? The attackers have used all of their utility somewhere else on the map. And, well, when it comes to the 20-second mark, they just have to start to push their way on through. They don't have time to drone. And if they do have drones still available, they're most likely in flank watch positions. So they're going to be absolutely useless because it's going to take them 20 seconds to even get that drone anywhere close to you. So you have to face check corners and hope that you look in the right direction. And for the time being, Hostile Action, they weren't looking in the right direction. And well, the steamroll that Hostile Action has had, being able to win 4 rounds in a row, will be shut on down. The snowball has been stopped. The train's brakes have been applied. It is now Synthetic's turn to win the basement bomb site, win cache CCTV, deliver us to overtime, and change everything that they have been doing. But that's a big win condition. They have to first win round 11.
Round 11 will be the gatekeeping round here, as they do indeed need to win it. And then the next round after that, because Hostile Actions have put themselves in a very good position, but the defense does have the ability to go ahead and we'll say this is where you're coming and this is what you're going to have to do. But the thing about the offense, their main goal above everything else is to control the pace of the game. The defense can say where they're going to set up, but the attack needs to say when they're going to break that setup, when they're coming in. If the offense loses that control, if the defense starts saying, you'll come in here now, you'll go there when we want you to, the offense is lost. You know, it's just like Anakin. He's lost. He's gone to the dark side with you. So I want to see Hostile Actions shut this down, but I'd love to see Synthetic control exactly like they've been doing the pace of the round. That would be amazing from them to stay alive. You called all 12 rounds being used. Well, Synthetic is really going to have to step up to make that come true.
Well, what will the macro strategy be for the time being? That's going to be sniping away as many of that drone utility as possible. There goes the wide swing from Valkyrie. It won't receive anything other than pain and suffering, as just Dom is better in that scenario. But what does that mean for the longevity of Synthetic? That is one of your best members of your entire roster, already sacrificed for free, with no HP being dished out whatsoever. Now, you still have Crafty and Fig, who are still sitting very close to that 10K marker. So at least you still have that as an avenue to work with. An impact grenade is going to go out, but it's going to be just a little bit too late, as the kitchen hatch has now been opened on up. Hazmat's going to be attempting a second run out, and his position hasn't been known. There he goes. He's better with his SMG-11. The round was not looking good for Synthetic at all, but they have fought their way back.
Fighting and biting and clawing their way to victory. Perhaps they can do so. They have the advantage. I mean, honestly, if they win 3 rounds in a row, who's to stop them from winning 2 more and just going phenomenally insane? I would love to see it, but at this point, I mean, the question is, Chief, when will Toll 9 be replacing us in the casting booth? That's really what I want to see. But what I want to see more is my man shutting down Axon. What a shot! Stays alive, and now it's a 4v2. Limbo and Devils left alone. This is scary for Hostile Actions.
It's almost like there's this crazy dichotomy when it comes to casters, where Kixon and Taro can make jokes, but T3 casters are bots when they do so. But sometimes you just have to enjoy the hate, because at the end of the day, you're just having fun casting a video game where it seems like everybody likes to play. 30-second mark in the round, though. The attacker's going to have to pounce onto the bomb site. No pounce whatsoever. They're shut on down. Now it's Devil forced to go down the central staircase, as he doesn't have the option of dropping the hatch. And it's going to be a contestation for Moto, jiggle peeking his way back and forth. There's almost no hope in this round for Devils, as he's stuck in a huge crossfire. But he's able to break the crossfire, working his way on through. But the knife around the wall is going to be just enough time for Fig to get the kill with the Alda.
Well, Chief, thou hast prophesied it, and it is coming true. We will see and utilize all 12 rounds, at least in this first map. Synthetic have brought it back, but will Hostile Actions take it home is the big question we'll be asking. A 7-5 is respectable in all manners of the game, but it hurts still. Doesn't matter if you lose 7-0 or 7-5, you lose, you lose. If it's in overtime, who knows how long you can go with Infinite. I haven't done Infinite like Chief. I'm kind of nervous that it's usually going to take like years and years, but I'm also kind of excited to see how it'll go. So Synthetic, step up here, baby. Get to the plate. Knock this bad boy out of the park and send us to round 13, 14, and potentially 15, 16, 17, onward and upward we go.
Well, I'm still traumatized from the last overtime that I casted because, after all, I have the record for the second longest competitive game ever casted that includes T1 all the way down to T3. So hopefully no OT today. And if it is OT, hopefully it's not going to be a 5-bracket OT because that gets a little bit spicy and your brain cells start to die, exactly what Twitch chat is currently doing over there. But what strategy will Synthetic be able to bring? Like we were saying, they're a team that has a lot of mechanical gifts to them, but they're not utilizing them. They're keeping those gifts underneath their Christmas tree, and they need to start to rip those presents open, start to get their guns up, and win these engagements, especially here at round number 12.
Look at that community vote, Chief. 50-50 split perfectly down the middle. This calls for an infinite overtime, man. You might have the second longest cast, but I say we go for the number one. How long is the longest cast ever? How many?
32 rounds in CCS.
How many did you do?
Too many. What was it, 24?
Oh no. Oh no.
We'll have production confirmed. I believe it was 24. I lost count after like 6. So the score line was 13-11. So for those of you geniuses in this lobby that have more than 3 brain cells, I'll let you do the math in your head.
Bro, that's ridiculous. That's insane, and I love to see it. But I do want to take a little bit of credit. The spam this hat to help Hazmat, I created that. I just wanted to give him a little bit of love because the man is a prodigy in the making. He needs some spam. So to all of you guys out there, you're just sheep. You're in my world and y'all's just living in it. But look at this. Within about 40 seconds, that lovely little wall is opened. And we really saw absolutely no denial. In fact, there was no denial. And I see this sometimes on certain cases, and it's going to be Fig with the first frag taking down Devils. That's a good start for Synthetic. And usually when a team doesn't bring any hard breach denial, it's because there's a Thatcher up or a Maverick up. But in this case, Synthetic might have given that up a little bit early, but does that even matter if they can confirm the kills and make sure that nobody gets in and does too much damage to them?
Now, the attackers have enough control of the east side of the map to go for their execute, but they're going to hang out for the time being, trying to rely on their little drones to confirm the locations of defenders before they actually go for the pounce. And while the thing is, Synthetic is going to be doing the exact same thing. It is Fig that is currently relegated all the way down to the basement to provide as much information to the players that are playing top rafters. A frag grenade is going to attempt to go out, but the thing was they didn't do their due diligence whatsoever. They didn't burn the ADSs. Finally, the ADS dump comes on through, and the second frag grenade will find its target and eventually confirm the down of the player, as it's almost back to equal man count, but nobody's expecting the flank through lobby. Nobody's expecting Crafty to go fishing with the Alda. A 4-man lobby for the time being with 52 seconds, but the attacking prowess of Hostile Action has something to say to this. Crafty sitting below 25 HP. He has 82 bullets to dish out pain and suffering, but he's in 180 crossfire. Bomb has been surrendered. There's the kill with the Alda, but unable to pull the trigger whatsoever. Accent secures the round 12 for them, and that's going to be map win for Hostile Action on their own pick.
What a job coming out, man. Took all 12 rounds, but man, what a crazy final one there. Almost went all the way, but dang, Chief. Let's get some extra chats in here, as I do believe we got our analyst boys and maybe a little bit of Keg Lunik back in the house.
Oh, yes. Before we get to the analyst, though, I really thought Synthetic could bring it back, man.
I was rooting for Synthetic. Again, I thought they had everything. Their entire toolbox is filled with success, but they didn't open up their toolbox. They didn't even try to crack it. The lock was still stuck, and hopefully they're able to change that up moving into map number 2.
Absolutely. I do think they started bringing it back at the very end. I was almost dead certain. I've seen way too much Siege in my lifetime. I thought for sure we were going to see that overtime. Make you guys kind of cast a little bit longer, but no, we didn't see it. Oh man, but Slay, we don't get to see you on the desk too often, or at least I don't show host you too often. I'm curious to know what you think.
No, I love it, man. I mean, just an amazing game. That's one of the great things about SCS is they just have so many different amazing aspects to it. They've got the production of a legendary production team, and they just do so much work. So, I mean, it was a great setup for a great game, and I really did believe in Synthetic. I thought they were going to take us to OT, but alas, it was not to happen.
No, no OT. It was not meant to be. Um,
Oh no, you can't
GG.
rhyme and make jokes, man. Twitch chat's gonna get mad at you.
Yes, I can. GG. It was not to be for the OT. There you go. I did it backwards, though. Call me the reverse
Woo!
Dr. Seuss. But overall, I do think both teams had a lot of potential when it came to the kills. I do think, and please, by all means, before we get to the analysts, Chief, I do think Hostile Action that were able to really take those kills in the beginning, almost always the first frags, and just consolidate them to make their numbers dwindle.
Yeah, that's a great point. And honestly, Saltbag was getting far too aggressive. He wasn't playing his life, and he never had the opportunity of getting refragged, right? If you're going to be playing aggressive, that's fine. You can incorporate that into your strategy, and it can work out well for you. But when you're on a complete and utter island with your nearest teammate like 20 seconds away, you're never going to be able to win those exchanges. Sure, if you get a kill, that's great, but you're more likely going to die because you're taking gunfights that are probably 50-50. Especially as a defender, you should be taking basically 80-20 exchanges, and that should be in favor of you, which basically means you're guaranteed to win that exchange unless you do something particularly dumb.
Yeah, very true. But speaking of particularly dumb, no, I'm just kidding. We do have the analysts coming over. Oh, no, we don't have the analysts. So I have to stop myself, it seems. I got a big old red stop sign. But no, the analysts are super smart around here. Oh, man. But I do feel bad, though, for Synthetic. And I just can't get over it. I really hope, Slay, that they can bring into map 2.
I agree, man. I mean, we talked about this a little bit. I mean, I do believe Hostile Actions wanted to go to Clubhouse, right? Is that true? So hopefully, going into Oregon, despite them being rather similar, it might feed a little bit more to the synthetic energy. So I'd love to see them just go off there, but I'm excited to see how it'll go.
Okay, now we're ready for our very intelligent analysts. Come on down, analysts. Oh, man. Let's see what you guys have to say. I'm curious to know. Oh, man. We have Pond and we have... No, wait. You're not Pond.
What do you mean? I'm Pond. Hello. No,
You're
I'm
an imposter. You're an imposter.
Yeah, we're going to vote you out.
Red seeming kind of sus over here.
Already imposter. Where were you in electrical? And frankly, where was synthetic the whole game?
Y'all ever heard of a vent?
Yeah. Well, I guess synthetic didn't.
Oh.
Man.
But no, how do I say your name? I'm sorry. I feel so bad. Is it Putin? Everyone says Putin.
It is Putin,
Ooh.
sir.
All right, I'm not going to go to Russia after this analyst cast. So overall, what happened with synthetic? Why weren't they able to bring it back?
Yeah, so honestly, it's going to break down round 6 here real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and start it off by pointing out this Wamai play right here. You see Wamai positioned in the hallway, having the angle on the 3 people dropping the hatch. And so he was able to stop the plant and stop basically the whole progress from, like, right here. You see that? He was able to get all the kills. They weren't able to get plant. They weren't able to reposition to get the control they needed. What about you? What are you thinking?
Oh, man, I don't really think a whole lot, but Smith does all the thinking for me. What do you think?
I mean, all in all, it was just the fact that Synthetic worked together in that round. You know, they were able to position themselves to defend the planter and position themselves, honestly, what I'd say is perfectly. They had basically all of the point of entries covered. They had, obviously, eyes on that rotate in blue. And, you know, like, they were able to take advantage of the defenders making aggro plays like that Maestro, who's, in my opinion, unnecessarily peeking those vertical holes.
What am I looking at?
So let's go ahead and introduce this new desk analyst stuff. So what you're looking at is the position of the players.
Huh?
So you'll see, so this is going to be main floor of Clubhouse. So let's just put first. I'll just put first because floor is going to be hard.
You have my handwriting.
Dude, I'm trying. So Ash, she was originally positioned by these main stairs. You had the Hibana watching the main hallway flank. and then you have the sledge and the ace contesting from above. That's where this maestro soon inevitably died. So with him out of the equation, what this is where they went wrong. The Ash, let's go in right and blue for attacker. She did not go down the main stairs. She instead went over to the hatch to drop. With this like being the position, this Wamai over here, free real estate. He was, as we saw in the video, able to get that angle on that hatch drop, and literally that won him the round. If this Ash did this one simple thing of going down the main stairs, cutting off this Wamai, and eliminating him, they have all the other crosses. They have literally the flank from the Hibana. They have the two people dropping from the hatch, and they have this person inside dirt. They they really have everything. They soon eliminated this Jaeger from the hatch up here, and once they eliminated that Jaeger, once they eliminated that Maestro, they had the whole site. It's like they had everything set up so perfectly, but that one mistake from I would assuming like maybe the IGL was like, hey, let's all drop hatch and rush site because maybe, hey, who knows, like maybe they could have forgotten that, oh, this wall is open and that somebody could be playing main and watching that angle. How you
Holy
taking it,
crap!
Smitty?
Honestly, I don't think it was an IGL play. I don't think it was an IGL play. I think it was just more of a hazmat play. Uh, I just think he wanted to go down there and frag because he haven't gotten the frag in a while, and because he hasn't got kills. I don't think till since round 2. So you wanted to get the frags and probably drop the hatch. That's just my guess, though. From seeing a mean team like Synthetic.
Yeah.
It's a very default play to just go down the stairs and hold the cross and basically make sure that your defenders are safe on Arsenal. It didn't happen. Luckily, Fig was able to pull out his heroics and clutched out the round. He was able to kill the Jaeger on the box 1. He was able to kill I think the alibi over there in blue. It was just simple, easy, done, there, and deal.
Yep, so true. I couldn't agree more. Their post plant positioning was very good besides that main stairs. Like they had a whole lot of stuff set up very well. It was like, man, it was a very close round, but it could have been a blowout if it makes sense. So it was still nice to see the comeback. So what we're seeing now is round 1. I always love to show round 1 because it usually shows the momentum of the game that we're going to be playing. We saw that it had some momentum, like it started to pick up, but then it started going one-sided, and then it started picking up on the other side, which is very great to see for Clubhouse, 3-3 split. So these teams definitely were pretty evenly matched, so to say. As we're seeing here, the Smoke, he was one of the star players. Valkyrie was the main star player. We saw her flank up those main stairs and really put an impact on this round. How are you feeling about it, Smitty?
I mean, honestly, just from looking at this Smoke here, he didn't start using his utility until the. Huh? Oh, my bad. The Smoke didn't start using his utility till he started planting the diffuser, or they started planting the diffuser, which was terrible. You don't want to well, not started. They got finished planting the diffuser, and then he started using his 3 smoke canisters. He only used 1 through that entire round, and only this he didn't use them at all. Didn't use them to slow down the push, which is critical for round 1. You want to be able to slow down the push with smokes canisters. You don't always have to use it to deny the plant. Slow down the push, make sure your team are setting up properly so you can be prepared for when they actually decide to push. I also want to highlight one more thing in round 1. That flank from Valkyrie was huge. It was very well played perfectly until they started to overextend onto trying to kill Ash. What would have been more useful for the team if they had gotten those 2 kills, try to rotate through construction, maybe take a gunfight with the person in logistics, rotate back into site, then he would have been able to um, be able to help his teammate out from defending the plant. It was just Smoke alone by himself. Wasn't really positioned to, hold off the plant.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like one thing that I want to point out. Speaking of this Valkyrie, so she flanked up these main stairs as we're seeing. So I'm gonna write top just so people understand that this is the site that we're watching. And so Valkyrie, she's positioned on these main stairs like we were talking about. The very unfortunate thing was her whiff on this sledge right here. So we saw Sledge on drone positioned right here, but she couldn't land her shots. This is where things could have been turned around. The Sledge could have been like, oh, Valkyrie is in logistics trying to shoot me. And then, so yeah, Valkyrie could have been like, hey, this, or Sledge could have been like, hey, Valkyrie's trying to shoot me in logistics. This Ashe, she's already positioned inside Master. All she has to do is hear that call and cut off this Valkyrie. But what ended up happening was Valk was like, nah, fam, I'm going to whiff my shots, reload, and then come back through Master, kill the Valkyrie, or not, whoa, kill the Ashe. And it's like, to me, that shows kind of a miscommunication. Because if I was Sledge, I would have been like, oh, there's only one place where I could be shot. So maybe confusion? I couldn't tell you.
I don't think he killed the Ashe because Ashe the Valkyrie lost in gunfights to the Ashe on top main stairs.
Oh, that's correct. Was it the Hibana he killed?
I believe so. I believe
Okay,
so,
so
yeah.
it was the Hibana. So it was the Ashe who did the refrag because she. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, I am following along now. I have been watching, I promise.
Oh, I do have to cut this a little short, though. This is some crazy arcane technology that I didn't know was possible in esports. Look at this, is like the NFL. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to say goodbye to it for a little bit now. We're gonna go back to our other casters, Putin and Smitty. Thank you very much for your beautiful analysis. And here we are. We have our other analysis, but you're much more faster talkers. Hello, you two.
Okay, well, first off, sure, they got their cool bells and whistles. I can do the same thing, guys. Look at that. Gungo pew pew.
Oh,
Boom.
hold on. I can do the same thing. I think we're still waiting for the teams to get all readied up in their lobby. So let me do my own. Oh, only 10 seconds till you guys go in. But I just want to leave you guys with one final message.
Aw.
I got you. Yeah, you better look, Chief. Yeah, that's right. What does that say? All right. Well, good luck, guys. It's going to be our final map of the evening. We have hostile action against Team Synthetic, and we'll be seeing if they go home with a 1-1 or a 2-0 tonight. All right, casters. Good luck out there.
Well, Chiefo, we're ready for map number 2. It's going to be Oregon. What do you think about Oregon, man? We can't hear you, brother.
I've been talking the whole time. Such a sad face. We just had that whole 30-second segment and nobody said like, hey, Chief's mouth is moving at all. So we'll have to address that. But apparently it's been solved. It's probably going to be Thatcher instantaneously removed. Lo and behold, nobody saw that one coming. But who will be joining him today? Now, we've seen a huge range of operators taking this secondary attacker ban. We've seen everything from the Capitals to the Montes in play to another hard breacher. It's usually that Maverick, because Maverick tricking can be so strong on that north attic wall. But clearly, a lot of deliberation being needed by Synthetic right now. They're not exactly sure who they want to remove. And finally, it's going to be Maverick once again removed for the second time in this series.
Yep. So long, Mr. Mavi. One of my favorite operators, man. I think he's one of the best hard bridgers out there. He can make any size hole you want. He can draw smiley faces. He can draw other things that we will not discuss. But the dude's very versatile. Wamai is a very good ban as well. I like taking the Wamai off. The man, he's been banned a lot of different places. He's one of the other defender bans you might also see on Clubhouse, but seeing him banned out here, it goes to show that people understand, especially Synthetic, since they're starting an attack, they don't want to deal with 8 billion different things to clear.
Well, that's going to be one step of the utility consumption simulator puzzle instantaneously removed. Most likely, that's probably going to be a Mira taken down. She wasn't banned in map number 1, but she will be removed in map number 2. And it's a very sensible ban. Now, she's probably not as oppressive on a map like Oregon compared to Cafe, but she can still be very strong, especially shutting down the white stairs pushes, which is the freezer stairs in basement. Now, that was actually the primary way of executing upon the bomb site when Oregon first rolled on through about, 6 months ago now?
Is that wrong? Oh my God.
I think it's been about 6 months ago because it's been in for 2 seasons, and a season tends to be about yeah, it has to be 6 months. That seems to be the only logical thing because Oregon was the first map that rolled out in the start of 2020, and it was introduced in the start of season 2 of 2020. So yeah, it has been in the competitive pool for 2 months now. And something that I've been going on record and saying a lot, it takes about well, 6 to 8 months for the attacking meta to finally actually catch up to the current meta. And it looks like we're going to be diving over to a quick rehost. This is going to be an admin called rehost. So both these teams are still going to have their pocket rehosts in case some other issues arise down the road. And you're going to be stuck looking at our heinous faces for the time being.
Oh man, we sure are pretty boys up in here. But unfortunately, get a rehost. At least it's right at the beginning. No one's losing any momentum. So that'll be all good in the hood. Oh man. So we get to discuss absolutely nothing. But we got Keg back. Keg, what's going on?
Hello. Well, I don't think my face is that heinous. I'd take care of it a little bit. Just a
You
little
do
bit,
some
though.
shavy stuff. I wasn't talking to you. You weren't on camera at the time.
No, I do trim my beard. I haven't trimmed it lately because the trimmer I usually use, I lost it.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, you're still looking gorgeous, so that's fine.
Oh,
I mean,
thank
I
you.
like this version of Cake.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I think everyone in SCS is beautiful in their own ways.
Well,
Um,
I agree. I agree. We have the best looking casters around, and I have to double down. You know, as a casting lead, I have to pride myself on just glorious casters, both on the mic as well in the face.
Absolutely, absolutely. But let's talk about the map a little bit more. We saw 10 glorious faces, but in the operator select, but we weren't able to see them in the play, of course. Production issues. I mean, it's esports. You'll see that pretty much anywhere. But I want to talk about those operators that we had seen. Now, I didn't get a chance to write them all down, so I'm hoping either of you guys did.
I did. Don't worry, I got you,
Yes,
big boy.
you
So
saved
we
the day.
currently see Thatcher and Mirror removed on the side of Hostile Action. Synthetic, they're going to be shutting down Maverick and Wamai. And as we were highlighting earlier, Wamai is a critical component of Utility Consumption Simulator. I know a lot of attacking teams struggle with taking top of Attic, right? There's usually a Wamai deployable shield with all 5 of his pancakes, and you have to throw everything in the kitchen sink down range to actively deal with that. Now, you only have to throw 6 things and 1 less deployable shield to worry about. Now, teams have been supplementing deployable shields elsewhere, particularly with Valkyrie, and a lot of T3 teams forget that Valkyrie has a deployable shield, and actually, in the T1 level, Valkyrie deployable shield is played far more often than Nitro.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we get to see more of it, but Slay, we saw those operator bans. I want to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, it makes sense, man. I mean, Thatcher Maverick, obviously some of the bestest operators to get off the board. And I think it really has to do with the type of map we're looking at. Just down below, we see all sorts of maps here. And some of them really do rely heavily on getting certain walls opened. And those maps, Clubhouse, Oregon, maybe a little bit of theme park, if we ever saw it, we'll see a lot of Thatcher bans, a lot of Maverick bans, because it just makes sense. But if you go to some other ones, you'll start to see less and less of that. You know, if we talk about Villa, pretty much every map is going to have a Thatcher ban consistently, besides maybe Coastline. Coastline, you might be able to slip them by. But I mean, with the Hard Breacher secondary ban, it really does depend on the type of map. And I think both the maps we saw tonight, very similar in a lot of their play styles where you have to get certain walls open.
Absolutely. Now, Chief, how are these operator bans going to transform everything?
Well, I think we're highlighting probably the biggest thing, which is the Wamai ban, because Utility Consumption Simulator is going to be nerfed just slightly. That's going to be the biggest change. Maverick Thatcher, probably operators that most teams are comfortable scrimming without, so it's probably not going to change things, as well as Mira falling into that as well.
Ooh, I mean, I like to see Mirror, but we never get to see her anymore. We've only seen her maybe a few times in SCS, but we will be going to the rehost screen, it seems. It's going to take a little bit longer than we had hoped, but we will see you guys, I think, in a little bit. I'm actually not sure what the rehost screen looks like. I think this is the first time I've seen it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We have returned. Some technical difficulties on our end, so that's been addressed for the time being, but we're back. Round number 1 is going to be kicking things off. The bans will be live. Everything thereafter can be changed up depending on how the teams like to approach round number 1. And it's going to be the tertiary bomb site rearing its ugly head as we're going to be going over to Meeting Hall. Now, I know there's been some hot topics lately about this particular bomb site as well as its sister bomb site, which is Dining Room. And I know there's been some pro league analysts saying that the sister bomb site is better. However, to a certain extent, they are correct. Statistically, however, they are not correct. And Meeting Room, at least from NAL season 1 or stage 1 standings, this is the best bomb site, not just on Oregon, but across the entire competitive pool. That means all 7 maps and all 4 bomb sites per map as you're trying to mime your way into this map. But now, sure, there are some strong components of the dining site, especially those buffer rooms that you can hold with impact tricking. Well, that's actually why Meeting Room is the better site, because the attackers don't have any buffer rooms. And sure, you can make the argument that the attackers have to execute above and the defenders get to hold from above, and that is true with both bomb sites. And you should actually be approaching the vertical take basically the exact same way, and then changing up your crossfires when you go into Meeting Room. And the attackers don't have as many crossfires when actually executing in a Meeting Room compared to the sister bomb site of Dining Room, which is why Meeting Room is superior.
Yo, Meeting Room, meeting feetin'. No, not feetin'. That'd be shoe room. But I'm excited, man. I think this is gonna be fun. And oh wow, this is going to be big. So in this situation, we're going to that tertiary bomb site first, and that means Hostile Actions want to get started real strong. They're feeling like they can get out here and do a whole lot of damage ASAP. But the thing is, Synthetic might have other plans. I like the lineup here. I like the Malusi, the Kaid looking real good. They got a little bit of the denial. It's important to make sure you are defending well when it comes to upstairs and attic. And look at this, that Malusi going to be burning all sorts of utility when paired with a Jaeger ADS, and the M590 will be doing all sorts of damage as well. Misses the first shot, gets the second one, continues, but no! Shut down to 4v4 as Crafty barely escapes with his life. Will be shocked to death by an Evil Eye if he's not careful.
Some utility consumption stimulator taken care of, but the primary fragger is going to be a more important kill for the side of Hostile Action, as Hazmat will find himself no longer a factor in this round. He did utilize all 3 of his flashbangs, so the breaching launchers will be surrendered into the void, at least for the time being, until we re-queue into a different round. Salt Baz is going to work his way all the way up into Elbow, where he's going to be twisting in the wind. He's stuck in a crossbar the defenders baited him into. Zag's going to get a free kill, and this is going to change the attacking meta entirely for Synthetic. And this is the problem with Meeting Room. You have to set up crossfires. You have to do your due diligence, because if you don't, you're going to be pushing from the exact same avenue, the exact same area, as we work ourselves to a 1v3, because Crafty is currently down. It's a very difficult rotation for the attackers to res his fallen mound. A-Man is going to take a little bit of damage, but back to a 2v3.
2v3 indeed. Man's picked up. They got about 70 HP on the board combined, and Axon going to find the kill on Crafty, but he'll be refragged by A-Man. Now it's all upon him in that 1v2 situation. You got the Kaid and the Maestro, 2 very heavy operators that bring a lot to the table. The Evil Eyes can go zippity zap zoop, and of course the Kaids do a little bit of zapping as well, albeit a little bit more passively. Coming in, the Nomad gonna have to fight down friends and takes down Just Dom with ease on the triple. Gonna have to get the quad kill here, and well, by golly, the quad kill will come out. What a job from Synthetic. They take round 1 in one of the greatest clutches we've seen so far in this map.
It doesn't matter if your strategy is just better. You can lose a round simply because you're unable to win your 1v1 exchanges. We've been saying this time and time again, especially when the old Homeland roster was a thing, being led by the legendary coach of Heems. When the Homeland roster started to fall, their strategies just weren't working. They would just throw it away and just rely on their mechanical brilliance. And a perfect showing of that is A-Man, as he finds himself in a 1v3 just working his way in. And the problem was the defenders of Hostile Action actively challenged A-Man in 1v1s. Remember, when you have the man advantage, it is imperative that you challenge that lone attacker with the man advantage and force the multi-angle crossfire, because if you don't, he's just going to win his ones. And that's the story of Synthetic in round number 1.
Round number 1 indeed goes Synthetic. Very, very, very similar as to what happened in round number 1 of Clubhouse, but after 11 more, it fell the way of Hostile Action. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I mean, again, you were kind of mentioning it. It takes around 6 to 8 months for a map to become a little bit more attacker favored. It can be very easy for the defense to hold on because the attack just hasn't really brewed enough. It hasn't fermented enough to get all sorts of cool strategies. So maybe we're starting to see the rise of the attack here. Synthetic do a very good job. Of course, it was on the back of a 4K from Eamon, but hey, man, you'll take it any day of the week. However, Devils will be taking that any day of the week. That's Figroll taking the first frag. The Mozbaz goes down early. That's going to be a little bit of utility off the board in form of a nice C4. And if he gets any drones, he won't be able to reposition them. This is going to be a little bit of a rougher start. You don't want to lose operators right off the bat. And Zaga to try to get a refrag. Hazmat severely tagged up. And Axon now moving in. He's all the way upstairs inside of Attic, but Limbo playing as well. First frag for the defense going to return as Zag takes down Hazmat. Poor Mans, but Amen refrag. Saltbat as well takes down Zag. Now it's a 4v2.
I was going to comment on the fact that each box hatch was not reinforced, but it's going to allow the defenders and the lone member off site to rotate on back. And as I say that, there's still somebody somewhere off site that is on the kitchen side. That is Limbo, a man who's been phenomenal on his retake, and another position to do exactly that. Axon's going to go aggressively peeking. He's going to dish out a lot of damage to A-Man, and here comes Limbo actively contesting the top hatch with his shotgun in hand. It's going to be on the attackers of Synthetic to understand how they lost round number 1 and to actively challenge in multiple engagements. A perfect showing there, as Limbo is going to be shut down in his back, and Synthetic's going to start to flood the bomb site as they win round number 2. It is almost deja vu once again, as they're going to almost be repeating club.
Well, hopefully for Synthetic, it doesn't continue to repeat that way, because Hostile Actions kind of went nuclear after that. They will win 3 rounds in a row from here on up, and then put themselves in a great situation as within 7 rounds, they win 6 of them. So let's hope for Synthetic's sake it doesn't go that way, but for Hostile Action's sake, they would love to do that again. Back to Laundry, and honestly, you expect a little bit more from the defense of Laundry, but just a very overwhelming attack came in. The defense crumbled and crumpled about like a tin can, and now they're going to have to try to right their wrongs. This is really, really very similar to what happens. I mean, we didn't see the secondary site first. We saw the tertiary site, but then we headed to our lovely Church Arsenal on Clubhouse. For here, we went to Laundry. They lost it. They go back. Will they win it to start that cycle, that pattern happening again? Of course, patterns in this game don't mean much, but they are fun to watch, and well, maybe we'll have one here. But if Synthetic can break it up 3-0 at the beginning, that's a huge advantage that they really shouldn't squander, and I hope they don't if they do get there. But Hostile Actions have proven time and time again, and I'm sure they will in the future, that they're not a team to underestimate. You cannot let these guys sit and get all warmed up, because once they do, they will run away with the game.
And honestly, we've actually seen a lot of T1 teams utilize that exact same strategy that Hostile Action did on defense. And it's a very similar strategy to how this bomb site was played just about 2 years ago when the original version of Orking was still in the competitive pool. You would do these big, grandiose meeting room holds and these meeting room rooms with the extension into kitchen sometimes, all being facilitated by castles. More or less the exact same thing from the side of Hostile Action, and Lightning is going to strike, well, 3 times in a row as Fig is going to get the opening kill once again. And it seems like Hostile Action doesn't really have a strong position here on defense, and that position's going to get even worse as Fig's going to find a second kill in this round, and it's going to force Devil to really rely on his J bunker extension.
So this is not how the defense is supposed to feel. I mean, just watching it, it feels very, very scary to be in a situation like this, and I can't imagine Devil is feeling great. Zag with a refrag takes down Crafty, and that's a good start. Devil's going to be able to rotate out. He'll be hard-pressed to try to get that up and try to get that reinforcement in. Saltbat holding a nice angle. Zag will put a GN in chat. What a legendary play by him. Devil still with the M590. Doesn't want to go for that close up as he knows it most likely will result in his death. A single frag here from Hostile Actions will even things up at a 3-3, but it's just going to go that way exactly. The refrag immediate though. Zag cleans it back up. Saltbad dies. Hazmat's still up, and it's just going to be Eamon and Hazmat up against Zag and Devils. A lot of big names here with a 4-man roster. This is going to be interesting to see how it goes down. Looking at the operators, an Ashen and Nomad, not a bad combination. The RX200 has done work before. The M590 and SMG11 combination and that AUG 3 looking very good with the 1.5 sight. This could go either way, but Hostile Actions needs it to go their way.
Hostile Action can play the clock even better. Hazmat's gonna get far too aggressive and punished for his aggression as he wasn't prepared for the crossfire. Now the new deployable shield is gonna be the bane of Synthetic as they're gonna have to deal with Devil actively playing it with his SMG11. Aben is gonna find himself in another clutch position. Will he be able to succeed though? And fortunately for him, he still has his drone buddy alive. He's gonna confirm the location of Smoke all the way into J. Smoke's gonna make a terrible rotation, and it's gonna cost him his life. Synthetic up 3 rounds. They're just currently heating up, but will they be able to find the island?
They are just better with these first 3 rounds. Oh my goodness. Amen is just ridiculously insane. Clutching it up for his team. You can't stop him. Hazmat says it the best. 7-0 for the Nomad player right now is just absolutely phenomenal. That's within 3 rounds, picking up multiple kills. And now to kids for the first time, we will go. Something feels off with this defense, man. It doesn't feel like they're controlling anything at all. The offense has done a great job of making sure that when they want to make moves, they make their moves. And even though it got down close, yeah, aim in there. One of the best Nomads we've seen tonight coming out, doing so much work. And the Hostile Actions find themselves in a bit of a pickle early on. By the way, did you know that a cucumber is actually a fruit?
Is it really?
It is. I learned this because, I mean, people were like, well, a fruit is something that has seeds inside it. I was like, well, cucumbers have seeds inside it. That means a fruit. And so I Googled it and it was like, a cucumber is a fruit. So technically, a pickle is a fruit.
So then would a pumpkin be a fruit?
Yeah, pumpkin's a fruit.
Well, okay, if it has a seed inside, you have to change your definition because technically a walnut has a seed inside, and that's clearly not a fruit.
Well, I just Googled it and it told me. Let's see if walnuts are fruits. This is a new Google search.
Well, we all know tomatoes are fruits, and if you don't know that, I think you need to exchange your 3 brain cells with mine. And Devil's gonna take a lot of damage from fire. I believe it's a self-destroyed Goyo shield, and that's something that you can't allow to happen. Devil has been an operator that's found himself also in those 1v3s. It's gonna be the chief runout special, and Salt Pad's gonna be shut on down. You can start to drop the GNs in chat as Saltpad was talking a little bit too much spec as he's gonna be punished for that.
Dude, that was a beautiful shot coming out. MP5 in hand for the Malusi, and Fig is 4-2, looking pretty good. Look at those Selmas going off. They only explode twice these days. I mean, 3 was a whole lot. It made runnable through holes, and that was very, very intense to deal with. So I like the nerf that he got. I think it's well-timed and quite appropriate. So reinforcing off, they are giving up a lot of control here. They don't feel like they can hold successfully inside of Attic, so they're saying you can have it. But Crafty with the refrag takes down Zag. That's going to be your castle out of here. Once again, the Type 89 making some names and killing them all. This 4v4 situation could still go either way, though. Crafty taking damage, but he gets a frag on a Limbo. Crafty is what we call in the biz insane.
But will he be insane for long? Or will he be put in his straitjacket? Who will be put in a straitjacket? That'll be Hazmat. As there goes Devil with 2 kills with SMG11. He's going to be attempting more, but quietly shut on down because nobody expected a flank whatsoever from just Dom. And the problem is with going to a bomb site multiple times in a row, if Hostile Action is able to win round number 4, this bomb set of dorms will still be locked off to them. But it looks like Hostile Action's completely perplexed. They have no idea that the bomb was finally put on the deck. This can guarantee 40 seconds left in the round, and the attackers are going to have to magically turn into the defenders. And the only thing that they're going to be turned into is nice puppets in their 6-foot grave.
A very good job coming up from Hostile Actions. They finally take a win on the board, and well, it started off with a beautiful, beautiful run out from the Melusi, and well, Melusi will be ending it with a nice little defuse. Beautiful job coming out as we now go to round number 5. The best they can hope for is a 3-3 split. That would be if they win 3 rounds in a row, starting with that previous round that they just won. Back to Laundry. Now, I might remind you that Laundry has a very bad record. You are taking a risk going here, but maybe you have what you need. A little bit of a win under your belt could be the answer we're all looking for, as they'll go back to the bottom floor for Laundry Supply. It's a Yana. No, it's a Cali. Okay.
So what strategy will Hostile Action attempt to utilize? Well, it's going to be the gambit of operators for Crafty. He wants to bring out the Cali. He wants to bring out the Iana. But in the end, it's going to be the operator that increases the drone economy for the attackers. As Iana not only has 2 baby drones, but she also has her hologram that can act as an additional 5 to 7 drones. And that's the most important thing, especially in competitive Rainbow Six Siege, where drone economy is imperative. The more information you have, the more aggressive you can be. And well, when you're just face checking corners because you have no information, that's almost an invite to have the defenders outright punish you. And very frequently in T1 play, you see attackers executing with 60 seconds on the clock with no information. If Iana was on the board, you can wipe the sweat off your brow because you still have some information brewing in your back pocket.
So when you said baby drones, it just put in the to my mind an image of a big drone, an operator that brings in a big bad drone that smashes through barricades, opens up soft walls, and Saltpad opens ahead of Limbo as well. But oh my goodness, Limbo on the Melusi tries to do a little bit of aggressiveness, and it won't be paying off. And man, these opening kills come in quick and they come in hard and fast, and already the advantage goes. But I would love to see an operator with a giant drone that can roadkill people and smash through walls. I think that'd be fun, like the Kool-Aid Man, but yet intel too.
Well, that's basically just like Blitz and Oryx had a baby, right? Imagine if you could just flash people, run through walls, and that would just be absolute madness. And it's going to be Hazmat attempting to do that. And some people might call this folly or madness because he's currently running the G36C. He's going to walk into the Wub though, give away his position just slightly. But it might have been such a small hit that nobody would have expected it whatsoever. And indeed, it looks like Devil was looking the complete wrong way. And he's going to be felled for free. That's going to be 3 smoke grenades. No longer a factor in this round. And Crafty's going to continue to drone with his additional drone. But it's not going to matter when everybody in Synthetic is just winning their 1v1 exchanges. It's a 5v2 with still more than half of the game left alive and standing. And finally, Axon's gonna get the first kill for his mates.
It's just Dom and Axon. Just Dom taking a lot of damage. And ooh, nice shot. Takes down Axon. That's aiming again. Fragging out with the ARX 200. What are you going to do when you switch onto the defense? You no longer have that weapon. I don't know. But just Dom takes down Fig World. If he clutches this up, he'll go down in history as one of the best Goyos in the world. But the world says no to the Goyo. Shutting him down is aiming again for what has to be a plus 10. At least let's check the stats real quick if we can. I want to see where this man's standing here because he's been going off recently. It's been insane. And okay, he's at 9. I was close. 9-1 is a 9.0 KD. Just ridiculous from this guy. Just absolutely ridiculous. They confirm at least a 4-2. They could go for a 5-1 and just basically tie this one up unless we see miracles and hard work come out from Hostile Actions on their attack.
Back to the tertiary bomb site once again. And so far, it looks like both of these rosters are very competent on their own map picks. Map number 1 was a Clubhouse, and Hostile Action would win that 7-5. And here we go. It's Synthetic's turn to show their map pick. And it's looking like this could be a huge stomp. And as we were highlighting earlier, the attacking meta takes a very long time to catch up to the defender meta. And Synthetic is saying, I don't like that sentence at all, Chief. I'm going to prove you wrong and just start to click heads, win basically 1v3s multiple times because we're just better in the mechanical skill department. And well, the last time we were here in round number 1, it was a 1v3 and A-Man was able to clutch on up. I don't think Synthetic is going to make the same mistake, though. The problem was with Synthetic's execute round number 1, it was far too linear because they're pushing all from one particular location. That is stage, and that's actually why this bomb site is good for the defenders, because you know the crossfires the attackers are going to set up.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to cut you off there, Chief. You're saying too many positive things about Synthetic, and we all know that Chief is the caster who curses Synthetic, so I need you to say something bad about them right now.
Oh, you're right. AJ smells and Tilde is dumb. Those are the odors of Synthetic. So there you go. The curse has been broken.
That was perfect. Get these TVs out of here, says Zach. He wants nothing to do with it. And once again, we will go, like you said, to that tertiary side of meeting and kitchen. So another big thing about the dining is, I don't know if it's still, I think it is, but you can like open up a good section of the dining room wall from above, right over there where we see the camera. You put a thermite charge up above and it just blasts it with absolutely no denial whatsoever. So that's another thing that that gives me a little bit of a question mark and makes me scratch my head when it comes to holding dining. How do you plan when, I mean, they can open that up for free? Might be another reason why we go see meeting a little bit more often, especially here in North America, or so it seems. And already dining is going to be taken control of. They've got a lot of room to move, and just Dom is holding out. He's got the Ha at the end of his name. He's ready to put down the law with the lovely Alda. And Amen already taken about 50 HP of damage.
The problem is with Synthetic, they haven't taken vertical control whatsoever. But who needs vertical control when you can just rush on in? It's going to be a myriad of death for the time being, as one member of each of these rosters are going to start to drop. As Crafty then say, not today, Chief. You've been jinxing us all day. I'm going to shut Devil on down. And here's the retake of the top floor. Crafty's going to be looking the wrong direction. That's going to be accent felling him in that process. Diffuser's in a position to be planted. But the problem is, without vertical pressure, it'll be almost impossible to do. The ult is going to start to tear into some flesh, as it's now just a 1v3. The unbridled aggression from Synthetic is not working out one bit. They are far too aggressive. They are pushing too hard. They were skipping their steps, and round number 6 will not work out for them one bit.
Oh my goodness. So that's going to confirm a 4-2 split. I mean, Eamon's still stuck in 9 kills, which is unfortunate for him, but still a very good job so far. We're switching over now, so it's going to be the defensive side for Synthetic. And like you said, if this is their map and they truly are going to feel very confident and they're doing things a little bit better, they should shine when they start taking us on to the defensive side. And I'm excited to see how they go. Instead of taking the tertiary side first, they'll go to what can be the primary or secondary site of kids' dorms.
Well, last time we saw Kids Dorms feels like an age ago. That was in round number 4 when Hostile Action was defending, and this was one of the 2 bomb sites they ended up winning. And they won it because they're playing very aggressive, getting these spawn peaks. And if they're able to continue with that meta, basically say Synthetic like, hey, I saw you play this Hostile Action. I'm going to try to channel that inner monkey plays. And sometimes when a monkey smells bananas, he's going to be flying outside of windows.
Man be flying. Look at the super shorty stolen away from our man Mozzie. Was just taken. I was playing Battlefield 4 the other day, and you can actually have an entire castle loadout because they got the UMP-45, they got the super shorty. You can run around and feel like castle. It's real fun, but unfortunately, I don't have the super shorty unlocked yet because I just re-downloaded it. It's alive and well. Did you know that? I didn't, but that's another game that I love. Siege and A little bit of Battlefield 4 just hits you right in the feels.
Oh, I do miss Battlefield 4. Battlefield 4 is probably my favorite Battlefield. That might be blasphemy. I did play, some BF3 for a while, but Battlefield 4 has a soft place in my heart. And soft walls will start to get opened up by Salt Bad as he can be utilizing a melee hull. Now, in the upper echelon of comp, we tend to see most teams elect to use bullet hole peaks instead of those, well, larger holes, because simply when you see a big hole, you want to shoot your gun towards it. And A-Man's going to be on an extended roam up here in T3. Lots of drones are going to be confirming his location, but he has the option of wasting a lot of time. He can't be far too aggressive, and if he is aggressive, he'll be shut down for free.
Yeah, this is a sketchy situation to be in. I mean, if he gets out of here alive, that'll be mad props to him. I think his idea is really just to waste time and maybe, if you're lucky, come out with a kill before you inevitably die. But let's see what he can do. Eamon looking good. However, Axon goes down as, Axon takes down Eamon. A very nice frag coming out from Hostile Actions as they really do want to take this back. A little bit of time wasted, but still only a minute, and it's going to be another frag. No refrags at all, as that'll be Kali taking down Crafty. A beautifully well-placed shot, and now in a 3v5 situation, Synthetic are going to have to work hard. Perhaps we are seeing a little bit of a more attacker-sided map of Oregon. That could be the case, but of course, we're only in round number 7, the first round for the Switch, and I feel like Synthetic have a lot of time to prove that they are the dominant team here on their map pick of Oregon. They wanted to go here, and I feel like we're going to see why, especially after that first defense. And look at this. Fig is just below Just Dom, playing very steadily. And you got to be careful with those laser sights. You can see them sometimes, which might get a little bit sketchy, but luckily for him, I think his position is still unknown. Big World moving around, having a real good time, ready to spring at any moment. But with less than a minute to go, the attack is at a very big advantage here.
And there goes the push, but it's going to be the defenders trying to actively challenge the attackers. Hazmat's going to get far too aggressive. Shut down for free. There is a rotation in the flank that you're highlighting. Frigg is going to find one, but the bomb is going to start to be put down. It looks like Salt has no idea that he's so close to the planter. Stuck in Hunter Angry Crossfire. He's going to be twisting the wind, but ends up running out of mouse pad. And now it is Fig. And almost unable to do the impossible. He's going to have to push from behind, working his way through North Attic. And if the attackers are aware of this, he will be shut down for free. Time is not on his side. He's going to be looking through the window, and he's going to spot his assailant and shut on down by Limbo.
Oh, shut down by the Limb. What a shot coming out. Beautiful job, man. You love to see it in Hostile Actions taking another round, and they're looking real good as they are beginning to warm up. They want to catch that 4-2 and say, we're going to bring it back to a 4-4, and they are on the way. The road to El Dorado has been begun to be tracked down by these dudes, and as we head to Laundry Supply, we really need to see something good come out from Synthetic. If they can just win 2 rounds, they'll be placed into match point. That would be huge for them, as match point is a difficult thing to escape from when you're on the wrong side of it, and well, I think that would be a very nice situation. To see a nice little tie come out from these teams would be good. I mean, once again, these are teams who have so far struggled inside of SCS, and both of them would like to get a nice little boost. And I think we're talking about one of them going 2-0 would be huge. And well, Hostile Actions is in that situation where they could potentially take 2 maps. But Synthetic is going to be a very large roadblock in the way of making a 2-0 victory possible. They still have the lead here, but after last round, they really need to tighten down and see what they can do to stop the attacking force of Hostile Actions. Just Dom, Devils, Zag, as well as Axon, all looking very, very good. It's going to be tough, man. I mean, you have someone who's very capable on Synthetic, 2 of them with Eamon and Fig, but you're starting to see Hostile Actions warm up, which is what happened in Clubhouse as well. So Synthetic need to be sure to nip these guys in the bud before they start getting a little bit too cray-cray.
Well, J-Bunker extended hold is going to be very common for most teams nowadays, and it looks like Synthetic is going to be playing into this meta. Now, they're not going to be utilizing what Hostile Action was with this extension into Meeting Room. They're going to play it a little bit more sensibly, and this is going to allow Hostile Action to grab a lot of map control and real estate, but nonetheless, they're still going to have to deal with the problems. That is going to be Fatal Funneled, and all these soft walls and all those doorways that are currently barricaded is going to provide a lot of information to the side of Synthetic, because when those get opened up, that's going to provide the information, the audio cues to Synthetic where Hostile Action is going to be pushing from. There goes the wide frame swing from Crafty, but he's going to be shut on down. It's going to be a question mark in the chat for Limbos. He wasn't prepared for that whatsoever, but he's still able to get the frag.
Frag coming on out, Crafty dead, which is an unfortunate situation for the Goyo to be in. You like to be alive for a good part of the round, and with still 2 minutes to go, that gets a nice little hustle under the bustle for Hostile Actions. They've got the man advantage. Let's see what they can do, if they can really work with it and get in here and do some big damages. However, they still have a lot of guys to chew through, and that's going to be tough. Chewing is not easy when it comes to a team like Synthetic. I mean, they took a very, very quick and dominant first half, but Synthetic, they might be losing the second half quite quickly if they can't hold on here. They've still got lots of guns up. They still got lots of great players up, and we need to see that time continue to tick down. Look at the amount of players ready to go, all of them beginning to crush in and try to trample over the defense here. Limbo on the Ash, the frag comes out, Salt with the re, takes down Devils, and now it's a 4v4.
And it seems like there might be a motif in this series as Saltpad removes the head off Accent. Something that you weren't expecting, and a huge blunder for Zag. He did destroy the ADS, and I was going to say this was looking like an attacker-sided show once again, as Hostile Action was able to win map number 1 on attack, and they're almost able to tie it up on defense, or actually back on attack, but it looks like Synthetic is going to be doing their own reverse Uno card, as they have the huge man advantage, but Dom is going to shut that down temporarily. The man advantage is still in favor of Synthetic, but it is only a +1 compared to a +2, and some good camaraderie for the first time across this series. Nice shots going back between opponents, but they're still going to have to go for the execute. Toxic Babes are still going to be shutting down and choking away members of Hostile Action. The crossfires are being established. Zag is taking a lot of damage, and it looks like the 20-second meta is going to be the bane of Hostile Action, just like Dom is to everybody on the side of Synthetic. The man advantage is swinging back and forth, but the ult is going to go swinging. It's going to be able to capitalize on the kills. Hostile Action just one more round close to match point.
So I think we can see a little bit why Smoke is such a great operator to have at the end of the round. But then there's the Alda bearing Maestro, who's another great operator to have at the end of the round. Both of those dudes did damage, and a beautiful job coming out from Synthetic. They take one extra round, and they're now one step closer to that match point we were all talking about. So back to Kids. They lost this on their first attempt. Let's see what they're going to do to try to change it up. They've been bringing Goyo pretty religiously. They love the man. They think he's great with his little bit of facial hair, looking not quite as good as Maestro's. Maestro's got a very full beard, but Goyo, he's a little bit more trimmed, a little bit more well kept, and we do appreciate that about the Goyo. But let's see what they can do. Synthetic in a situation here where they can take match point and then take the game, or excuse me, take the map within 2 rounds. So they're in a very dominant power position, but Hostile Actions have kind of been on and off here a little bit. They're able to win a couple rounds, but they need more.
You know, Slazela, I think you're highlighting a new meta that we really haven't talked a lot about. And we all know, the German shotgun buff with an ACOG. But have you heard about Buff Chief's Beard? That's a new hashtag that I think that's going to be rolling out very soon. And, our lovely man with the Alda has such a glorious beard. Imagine if that was on Chief's face. That would look delectable and delicious at the end of the day. But it's going to be round number 9. It won't be too delicious since we're not going downstairs in the kitchen. We're going to be upstairs on the dorm side. And once again, this is going to be forcing Hostile Action to take a lot of map control. You're going to have to clear out from North Tower as well as South Tower, trying to set up these crossfires. Now, a lot of teams aren't really doing big window executes. They're just putting one member over here to hold the cross. Most teams are actually opening up north of Attic, then rotating their primary hard breacher all the way over to the south, which is into games. Dom is going to take a lot of damage and end up being shut on down. No, that's actually Saltbad that's able to credit himself with that kill. And your secondary fragger shut down too. But here comes the rush. Bomb's going to be playing on down, but it seems like Synthetic has read into this perfectly as they're going to try to find as many kills as possible to deny the plan. Limbo's going to be taking a lot of damage. The planner is going to be felled as it's now just a 1v4 post-plant with 40 seconds.
Oh, there's no way, dude. They're getting that easy, man. Oh, what a job and a little bit of a explosion to end Synthetic with a beautiful round take match point. And I mean, that's the problem with rushes. You rush on in, but you kind of you get into the meat of the defense. But the problem is that defense can close around you and just suck the life straight out. And that's exactly what we saw Synthetic do. A beautiful job coming out, and oh my goodness, Hazmat, you crazy. But a really well defended defense there, and that might be the end for Hostile Actions. They tried to do something a little bit crazy. It didn't work out at this point. They are in significant trouble.
So technically, if Synthetic wins this round, they would win the entire series because it was technically a tie, but it's going to go to round differential. Now, they'll both earn the same amount of points, but moving in the standings, Synthetic will obviously have the advantage. Now, because map number 1 was a 7-5, at least that is the win scenario for Synthetic. It is imperative that they win this round, and if they do lose their tertiary bomb site, they have to win whatever bomb site they go to next, and that will most likely be basement unless they try to change things up and go into dining room. And once again, the tertiary bomb site is going to rear its ugly head. It is superior in every way to its sister bomb site, but you've heard that lecture more than once today, so we're just going to have to remind ourselves, meeting room is A1, dining room is big doo-doo.
A little bit of biased opinion there, but perhaps it is a correct one. I mean,
I'm always right.
Chief's always right. And you know what? If Synthetic win without taking to all 12 rounds, you'd be round about them technically taking it, right? I mean, they would win off of round differential, and that would be really big. So Hostile Actions are in a very similar situation to what they put Synthetic in themselves on Clubhouse. They're going to have to win 3 rounds in a row to take us to overtime, and well, by golly, if they don't, it's going to be Synthetic's day, and they're going to be able to take their map in a very formidable fashion, and I love to see it. Oh, get him! Shoot him! Did he not? Did we see him, but he didn't? I don't know. He saw him again. Get him, Saltbad. Shut him down. Just down with the first frag. Takes down Eamon, and that is going to be your Jaeger gone off the board. Drones are coming out. Saltbad a little bit frustrated with being unable to destroy the drone, but it does end up dead, and now he's ready to go. The advantage swings to Hostile Actions, and it needs to if they want to win this and stay alive here on Oregon.
Well, the deployable shield is going to be Salt's saving grace for the time being. He's going to have to call Hazmat over to help him out and destroy the top hatch as Saltbad is going to hold Mouse 1 with his Scorpion getting a free kill for himself. And now it's Zag's turn to actively contest this position. But the entire attacking team of Hostile Action wants to finally kill this man. Salt is going to get another kill before he's shut on down. Back to equal man count with 90 seconds left in this round. Now the attackers have accomplished their goal, which is taking the top floor. That is a wonderful thing to check off your checklist. But what else do they have? They're going to need to actually move to the first floor, relying on their vertical destruction. It doesn't look like there's any breaching charges whatsoever on the side of Hostile Action. So this is going to be a huge mistake and an oversight for them. You have to push the defense away from their power positions, and the only way of really doing that is through vertical destruction.
Vertical destruction is the name of many a game, and we like to see it, a little bit of pressure coming from above. Very, very, very handy in a lot of different maps. And well, just Dom now standing quite tall. It's a 3v3 situation, so things have evened out a fair bit. And with less than 40 seconds to go, Hostile Actions will have to close this up in a formidable fashion indeed. Tagged up will be both players, but they both step away alive, and now things are heating up. 30 seconds to go. The defense have a lot of great operators on the board. They've got their smoke, they've got their mute, they've got their kite. Smoke canisters going out. Those toxic babes gonna do a lot of stuff, and Limbo takes down Crafty. It's a 2v3 situation. Crafty didn't want to die there, but he does to the R4C of the Ash. Hazmat continues to chuck out his lovely toxic canisters, but that vertical control is being established. Refrag, Hazmat finds Limbo, 2v2. Another fake find Zag, but Zag takes down Hazmat. It's all upon a last man, and he does it! Just Dumb wins it! And they will survive for another round. What a job! Nomad is the operator to play tonight as she takes down her dear friend Kaid, and they will go a little bit deeper into this match.
Whew, a spicy round 10 in conclusion for Hostile Action. And the thing was, I think Synthetic was really feeling the fact that they had control of the entire series. They were up 6-3 at the time, and they wanted to play aggressive. They wanted to try to feed into their mechanical skill. And it has worked out for rosters, particularly today, because we did see Pride utilize Lord Tachanka on aggressive spawn peaks. Now, Synthetic wasn't quite to that extreme, but they were still playing very aggressive, and they're putting their players in positions where they couldn't be refragged. And that came down all the way to the last 10 seconds, where it was a 1v1. Now, imagine if Synthetic had the man advantage early on because they're playing that refrag game a little bit better. That one small oversight, that little bit of aggression early on in the round is what's going to start to snowball around in favor of an attacking roster. Because at the end of the day, the attacking roster that sets the pace is the attacking roster that tends to win.
It's true. I mean, we talked about this back on Clubhouse. If you are able to control the way time is going as an attacking team, you're doing a great job, and you're going to put yourself in many, many better positions and better situations to close things out. And I mean, I think once again, we're going to see all 12 rounds. I think that's going to be another happening here, but maybe not. Laundry, we've seen once before for the guys over in Synthetic, and once before they were able to win it. So they could shut it down here. They could close it out. They could send us all the way home with a 7-4 victory in their book. But if have anything to do, they might say no, no, no. So bad dead. The Malusi has died often quite early, it seems, and Hostile Actions will make sure that happens again. A beautiful frag coming out, and now the advantage rolls to the attackers once again. Malusi, one of those set it and forget it operators, so perhaps not as important as an operator who has you know, something like a Maestro or a Smoke, where you need to be active to be able to really utilize your utility and ability to the full potential that it carries. So maybe not the most important death, but a death is a death, and that's a gun off the board in favor of Hostile Actions.
That was a great rhyme you used, my friend. I might have to steal that down the road. After all, you did steal one of my copywritten things, so I think that's only fair. And maybe I won't charge you that $6 like I said earlier. Maybe we'll just call it even at the end of the day. Now, Crafty's going to be attempting to make this lobby even, as he's going to be trying to find another attacker. He's going to be retaking all the way up into Garage, but there's nobody anywhere close to where his positioning is, as Hazmat's going to find a kill. Crafty's going to get out shut on down. He was getting far too aggressive once again on that island with no potential of a refrag. It was a good attempt on the side of Synthetic, but again, they just want to play too aggressive. They don't think about the value of their lives, and that's something that they're going to have to adjust to. And now it's going to be really relying on the 3 members who are currently on site. Hazmat's going to go and try to snipe away drones, but he has the majority of his utility and plenty of time to waste with his J bunker extension.
The old J bunker looking real good, but Devils has aggressed quite quickly with that drone. Going to get a lot of information and be able to understand where people are coming from. There's still a minute to go, which is plenty of time for any attacking roster, especially one with the man advantage. I love the angles being held here. I love, oh gosh, I love that from Hazmat. The double kill comes out, but he won't get any more. He's shut down and finished off by Limbo. That's going to be a good kill coming as they do find that. Taking the position over will be Amin. Amin has only found 1 kill in recent memory. He had 9 within the first half, and Limbo shuts him down. It's now all Fig to potentially end this, and a nice kill comes on, but he's going to have to find 2 more. That's a Yana dead, but from behind, he'll be shut down by Just Dumb. And this Hostile Actions roster is taking us all the way to round number 12, with a potential of taking us all the way to OT.
So, Slayzilla, we've been here once before, and it looks like we will be delivering ourselves here once again. So, at best, Synthetic can only tie this series going 7-5, which is the
Mhm.
exact same scoreline that Hostile Action actually utilized in map number 1. And it seems like Hostile Action is, well, doing exactly the same thing they did in map number 1. They have these ridiculous plays, they run up the scoreboard, and then all of a sudden, Hostile Action starts to win plenty of rounds on attack. Now, the only difference that has been made here is the fact that, well, Synthetic currently finds themselves in match point, where in map number 1, it was Hostile Action that delivered themselves to victory. And Callie is going to be shown once again. Callie can be a phenomenal operator in this current meta because she can shut down these electrified walls, especially when you're executing over to the north side of Attic and then rotating your primary hard bridge as well as your supporting operator over to the south side of games.
Your south side of games. Did you know that Hazmat's rating today is higher than his overall? I didn't know that, but thank you, r6lookup.com. We appreciate you. Some good facts coming out for tonight. A very good fun fact is Hazmat doing good for himself, and we like to see that. Hazmat, he's got the potential, he's got the power, and he's got plenty of time to work with it. The man's got all day if he needs it, and Synthetic still in the defense have a chance to end it, like you said, here in round 12, but Hostile Actions are vying to take us to our first OT of this series. They want to do it. They need to do it. They feel it in their bones. And here they go. Aggressing to the downstairs section will be the two German operators, even in Saltbad, preparing. Already the defense is preparing for something really big to happen. Hostile Actions would love to shut him down and take us to OT, but it's been a little bit back and forth here on Kids.
So once again, I started to compliment Synthetic, and that means they're going to start to lose rounds. So once again, I have to insult the org owners of Synthetic, which is AJ as well as Tilde, and they all look like troglodytes. So that's going to be the insult for the day for Synthetic and their org owners. So hopefully, if you're a fan of Synthetic, I have unjinxed them, and they're able to now win round 7. Now, if you're a fan of Hostile Action, I may have just added a lot of fuel to the Synthetic fire. So hopefully you brought out plenty of fire extinguishers to shut that down.
Ooh, got to get that lovely spam in chat again. Get that copy pasta going. Got to feel the heat for both of these games. And at this point, with about still a little bit over half the round to go, the offense is taking the time, but they are taking control as well. Axon now inside of Attic is aggressing quite heavily, but will be seen and spotted out through those shields. The smoke comes, but won't be taking any damage at all. Just Dom is a very dominant player. It's why it's in his name, and he's looking real good on the Nomad player as well. Now, I gotta get your opinion, Chief. ARX 200 or AK 74?
Honestly, I utilize both of them. I like both guns. It's really depending on how I'm feeling and how I'm hitting shots. Like, if I can't control recoil for whatever reason today, I'm not dragging my mouse down enough, it's ARX City every day. But the AK has so many bullets, like, pre-firing a City is so important, too. So it's really depending on what Chief you're getting today. Are you getting 3 brain-celled Chief that's botting everywhere, or are you getting Chief that guns? Well, joke's on me, I don't ever gun. Well, Axon is the exact opposite of Chief, though, as he gets himself a free kill, as it looked like Crazy was just trying to prone in the middle of the bomb site. And that mistake is going to cost him his life for the time being, and the man advantage that Synthetic worked so hard to achieve will no longer be a thing.
No longer be a thing. The time continues to drain. Zach with another frag takes down Amin, and Hazmat will drop as well to Axon. Another falls, and it's going to overtime unless Figworld can figure something out. He'll try to take one man down, but he's got so much to deal with. It's going to be difficult for the lone Maestro. The plant going down will mean that it's going to get a little bit sketchy. Look at that. The Goyle shield now used to his disadvantage. Finds one, but the defuse down. Needs to find more. The good thing about the Alda, you don't have to reload until you're very low on HP or ammo, and he feels it's fit now. But here's the problem. You've got very good post-plant situations, very good positioning coming out from the offense. I think this one's taking us to OT. I think Hostile Actions have what it takes to go all the way to round 37 or something crazy. Hopefully not, because I would like to go to bed at some point tonight. But with time dripping, Fig is going to try to get the plant defused, but it's all but over now. He has seconds to get on it. And with this move, he's completely given up his chances. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be Hostile Actions taking 3 rounds in a row, securing that we will be visiting round 13 and 14 with potential of more.
And the thing with that is delivering us over to round 13. This has confirmed that Hostile Action will win this series no matter what the outcome is, depending on the points. So a valiant attempt coming out by Synthetic, but at the end of the day, I have Caster curse them all the way into oblivion. I was far too complimentary of them. So on behalf of everyone here in Storm Competitive Series, and a direct message over to Synthetic, I sincerely apologize for jinxing you in this series. You guys look strong, but at the end of the day, the Chief support was just far too strong. I called Hazmat a prodigy. He's played well today, but apparently I have just destroyed every hope that Synthetic has had.
Big Sag, man. Big Sag in the chats there. And it does have to feel a little bit bad for Synthetic. They had 3 chances to shut him out there. They had match point 6-3, and they let it slip. So a great job from Hostile Actions. If we look at the kills right now, just Dom has eclipsed almost anybody, because Big World is 15-9, but just Dom 14-6, looking very good. And then we go 10-8-8-6, and I think that ability to have everybody fragging out to a good amount is huge for both teams, and it's why we're going so far in. 15-11 to 9-7. Crafty sitting at 4 right now is very similar to what we see over with Hostile Actions, and it definitely has been a very weird, wacky back and forth game that will go all the way to overtime. And it's going to start here with Synthetic still on the defense. They will try all they can to make this happen, but Hostile Actions, coming off of a heater of 3 rounds, might have the momentum to shut this one down.
Whew, it's been a long day, and it might be an even longer series on the side of Synthetic, as they have just not been as strong on defense. It seems like the entire theme of today is going to be who's just better on attack. And for the time being, Hostile Action has shown they've had a mastery of both maps on attack. And just Hostile Action is getting far too aggressive. They're starting to skip steps, and they're making mistakes along the way. A mechanically gifted team can win the majority of its exchanges, but as soon as another mechanically gifted team reads into their plays, they can start to set up crossfires and bait that aggression.
You're absolutely correct, man. I mean, I don't think I could say it better myself. That's exactly what they've been doing. They've been able to counter a lot of the aggression, and they've been countering and playing well into the mistakes of Synthetic when they have made some. And at this point, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be real interesting to see how this OT will go. Will it be a back and forth monstrosity? Will it be a quick 2-0 from either side? I don't know how Fig is going to walk away from that. Kali just unable to find enough damage there. And while Saltbat as well will be trying to get a little bit of aggressiveness here. Damage has been taken already, but I say already half the round is gone, so a very good job from the defense for controlling at least some of this time. But as we've said, the attack can come in very swiftly as soon as utility has been drained away. Once the all clear is given, they like to ascend and descend and make all sorts of moves. So with a minute to go, Synthetic holding on to the defense, but they need to make sure they can close this one out well.
A risky strategy for Hazmat is going to finally reinforce Jay Bunker, but fortunately for him, he's going to send his Toxic Babe as a contingency plan so nobody on the attacking side gets too aggressive, and it's going to be the CSRX. The bolt action sniper rifle is going to find a receiving in, package received, a free kill. They're going to all line up for him as he finds 2, unable to confirm the 3rd. Back to equal man count once again, as the attackers now have control of all of Boiler Room. This is a phenomenal position to be in. Fig is going to rotate all the way over to Freezer, reestablishes Crossfire that A-Man was currently trying to utilize. And the 20-second meta, the meta that most individuals tend to hate, it's going to be exactly what Hostile Action is going to have to fight their way on through. But the crossfires do work both ways. Hostile Action is going to attempt to utilize it the best they can as the bomb begins to go down. Planting perfectly, the door frame is going to cover the bomb as missed shots exchange all the way around. Synthetic unable to reconfirm the bomb plant. A huge mistake and a great read by HA.
HA indeed do what they must. A beautiful job coming in very well from them. Their 4th round in a row will be the most rounds in a row we've seen tonight, I believe, at least in this series, as they did have 2-3 in a row back on Clubhouse. But here they're on a streak of a lifetime. And switching on to the defense, they go to Meeting Hall. If we look at Meeting Hall, it's got a 50% win ratio. That's actually not terrible from the other ones, but I do wonder why they don't hit the kids. They won kids, but we didn't see it thereafter. So Meeting Hall, it will be. They feel comfortable here. They want to make sure they can get it done. We started the map with Meeting Hall with a nice HA defense. Will we end here on Oregon in Meeting Hall with a nice HA defense? The question remains to be answered, but last time we were here for the first round, it was a synthetic win. They were only able to make it happen on round number 6.
I think the only reason Synthetic ended up taking so many rounds is because I was a little bit frustrated with them that they didn't win map number 1. But like we're highlighting, the moment I started to compliment them, they started to lose rounds outright. And that's going to be hostile action for the first time in map number 2, finding themselves on match point. And if you're not familiar with how unlimited overtime works, is you have to win 2 rounds in a row, which means if hostile action loses this round, those 2 rounds will be completely reset and it'll be another bracket over time, forcing whichever team to win 2 rounds in a row. And in theory, we can go on for days, or like we did last week, all the way up to 24 rounds. And if you want your brain turned into jelly, there is no better way of doing it than that type of OT.
Oh boy, my brain gonna be all sorts of jelly here, and Synthetic can keep it going. Once again, this is my first time with even the opportunity of an infinite overtime, a possibility even being in the book. So it's going to be exciting. I kind of want it to go a little bit longer, but oh my goodness, Synthetic stacked up very heavily here from the north side. Shots coming in, but it's going to be just Dom finding the first on the Amen. We saw this in a basic repeat with Limbo holding the angle here. Finds another. Salt goes down more. He feeds them. The refrag comes down. Hazmat takes down Zag, but it's a 2v4 situation. Hostile instincts. Hostile actions already in a dominant position, but Hazmat is beginning to frag out on the Ash roll just when the man needs to. He's coming alive. In fact, he's definitely got a very nice rating for this map, and we do love and appreciate him, but there's still much time and much to do.
The problem with Synthetic's attack was very simple. They did a very linear push, and it was straight into the waiting arms of, well, everybody in hostile action. And once again, this is the problem with this bomb site, is if you push from the same angle, you'll be shut down from the exact same angle that the defenders are utilizing. But it looks like we're going to find ourselves once again in a potential clutch for Synthetic, as they're going to bully their way from their man disadvantage over to an equal man count. The problem is there's plenty of utilities, particularly these Maestro Evil Eyes, that are currently being utilized by Just Dom, who's so far away, there's no way they can be actively challenged by any member of Hostile Action, as the server looks like it doesn't want this series to end at all.
They do not want it to end with a minute to go. Synthetic have a good chance at closing this one up. It's Fig and Hazmat still up. Fig, 16-10, looking very good on the board. There's still plenty of time, all things considered. So this plank going down is very early, but just Dom goes down. What a shot! Hazmat on the triple, wants to go for the quad. Will he get the quad? The Child Prodigy is coming out big. It's all Devils. It always has been, but he's going to have to do so much work, ladies and gentlemen. I believe in my heart of hearts we are headed to round 15, and from there, who knows what will happen. Synthetic, do ye have what it takes? They do. Fig World shuts him down. A beautiful job as we continue to move onward and upward.
And it seems like Synthetic is going to be diving back over to Twitch chat for the time being, as well as the in-game chat, as they're just going to be having some fun banter back and forth. It looks like our observer wants to get a little piece of the pie for the time being. And it looks like it might be past Hazmat's bedtime, as it seems like he needs to be going to sleep very soon. So it's in his best interest on the side of Synthetic to win this bracket of overtime. One completed. We still have, in theory, unlimited. And it's going to be on whatever team is able to win 2 rounds in a row. And, well, it seems like Synthetic is able to do these very linear pushes through Meeting Room, but somehow still able to actually win these engagements because the defenders have no idea what to do. They're playing far too passively. And as mentioned before, when your back is against the wall, the attackers are going to read into that and bully you.
Bully, 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 bully. They like to bully you all day long. So 2 rounds in a row is a lot. That's a lot of rounds in a row, because not only do you have to win a round, you have to turn around and win another, which is insane. It's hard to do, especially in an overtime situation where both teams are pushing as hard as they can. So it's going to turn into a little bit of a game of maybe a game of who's got the most endurance here, who can go the longest, who can play for the most amount of time while making the fewest amount of mistakes. I don't know, but I do know that Synthetic is back on the defense. The offense has been very victorious here in overtime. Both offensive attacks have won. And that means Synthetic could make a big change here if they win up on kids, and that's what they're going to be doing. Round 15 is usually the final round of overtime. In many a regular with 3 rounds in overtime game, this would be a GG after these couple of minutes. But here, like you said, Chief, 2 rounds in a row will have to be going to either team, and well, I can see how that could take a grand amount of time.
So Fig looks like he wants to actively challenge the kill record, and Goria from Emergence is the one that broke that across, not only T1 but all the way down to T3. I believe he dropped 34 kills in one map, which is a mind-boggling.
Wait, how many?
32. I was wrong. 32, which is just absolute madness. And Salt is going to find madness in this round as the primary entry of Hostile Action is going to be shut on through. And, well, Fig won't be able to find the impact, at least on the start of this round. But given the fact that he's found himself in so many 1vx scenarios, it's very much possible for him to at least break the old kill record, which was 26, and now reset all the way over to a mind-melting 32.
That's insane. That's so many kills, man. That's crazy stuff. But Axon says this is crazy stuff. Hazmat goes down. Hazmat was just starting to warm up. The smoke dead early is not a situation you want to go into. Fig World is like only halfway there. A little. If we got twice as many, he'd break it. But Crafty does to get the refrag on Axon. Takes him down. That's so many kills. That is hard to comprehend. But Hostile Actions now has the man disadvantage that they've got to work with, and they do have the Kali on board, an incredibly powerful sniper rifle alongside the SPS MG9. I used to add an extra M in there, and I've been having to train myself back because I decided to just say SPMS, but that is incorrect. Do not do what I did and memorize a gun name incorrectly. Crafted with another frag takes down just Dom. The defense might be able to win here, and that means by round 16, Synthetic could take it home. But if Hostile Actions crawls out of this one, they'll be in a great situation to try to do something big. Beautiful shot from Saltbad, and Crafty ends it all for round 15. We will continue to go. Eamon says GG. Henry says no. Saltbad says infinite OT. Hazmat says it's infinite OT. And now everything is confirmed that that is not a GG. Eamon was very excited, and we're going to keep on going.
Well, it looked like Synthetic was able to win this round, but hey, man, he had the own oof card played against him. He wasn't quite prepared for it going into unlimited overtime as he shut on down for that. And honestly, I do hate the 3-round overtime because, well, whoever's on defense has a higher statistical likelihood of winning. And here with unlimited overtime, you have to win 2 in a row. So Synthetic is going to return over to match point and series point if they're able to win this round, which is round number 16. Apparently, numbers are just as hard as words. Some finance major I am. We're going to have to see how this elects to pan out. We're going to be returning over to the basement. It's going to be a multi-shield strategy with 3 deployable shields in tow. And remember, Wamai isn't in play, so the only thing defending those deployable shields are Jaeger ADSs.
The old Jaeger ADS. Beautiful, beautiful operator. Hostile Actions go downstairs to laundry. And this is where they're going to try to keep us inside of this game for one more round. That's what they want to do. They want to keep extending it until they can eventually strike like a snake out of the bushes and take you down. But Synthetic is poison ready as well. They've got their fangs all sorts of sharpened up, and they're ready to end it here. But it's easier said than done. It always is easier said than done. And at this point, it's going to be huge for Saltbad and the rest of the gang to attack successfully. So far, both attacking rounds from the first half, for the first 2 rounds of OT won. So based on that, they should be a good time for Synthetic. But I mean, Hostile Actions, if they've done anything tonight, they've been able to keep themselves in it. And they've done a good job of making it count when it needs to. Can they do so again here downstairs in basement?
It's going to be the apex point for Synthetic. This is going to be the J Bunker extension with a lot of utility and a lot of ADSs, but eventually the ADSs are going to be blown away, and this is going to force Devil to change up where he wants to be. But he's going to be very active on J Bunker. He doesn't want to play his deployable shield anymore. He just wants to start to click heads. Shield destroyed, fire starting to throw everything away in J Bunker. This is going to force Devils to rotate away. That was unbridled aggression coming out by Salt. Bad. The W shift challenge won't work out at all for him, and Salt's going to be the first casualty in this round. But fortunately for them, the IGL of Crafty is able to get an impact frag, and once again, back to equal man count at the halfway mark.
Bomb located by attackers.
I believe Slayzilla is still muted over there, big boy, so he's
Hello,
probably
hi, I'm back. Sorry. I muted myself because, well, I don't know why. But now I'm back. I'm returned. My brain's starting to melt. But that's okay. I was going to say that Accent sounds like a Pokemon. Just Dom finds Figworld, a very nice frag, as Hostile Actions retake the man advantage. Crafty and the boys all tagged up a little bit, and they're going to have to work real hard to get in and get out. Hazmat 10-13, Crafty 8-12. A lot of these guys would love to pick up some extra kills, and now's the opportunity for them to do just that. Eamon was the legend of the first half. Can he do it in this? Technically the third half. Hazmat with a beautiful frag, but will be shut down as he walks through. Limbo finds him. Now a 2v2 situation, or 2v3, as Crafty makes it a 2v2. Just Dom will drop. Now it's all upon Limbo and Devils, tagged up severely. The plant going down from Crafty is pulled off of, gets it, it's a good kill, but it goes down to a 1v1. It's all Eamon. Can he do it? Will he do it? Does he have the power? I don't know. But he does, and he's got to feel confident. But Devils is looking good and ready to go. The smoke player can do so much damage with his loadout. The plant being attempted. Devils moving around hastily, but he thinks twice about it. He wants to know that when he makes this move, it's going to count. Coming around the post plant with a Nomad can be so difficult. What's going to happen here?
Well, this tango has been done before, and it was Devil on the losing end of this. And will he repeat this once, or will he be able to shut down his assailant early on? It won't be a round win for Hostile Action at all. Synthetic is able to win their own map pick in overtime. It might have been a phenomenal showing by Synthetic here on map number 2, which was Oregon. But at the end of the day, since you still get points for delivering yourself in overtime, it is going to be Hostile Action winning out the entire series. But Synthetic finally gets their first points in round number 3. The roster changes they made has worked out incredibly well for them. And Mr. Keg's glorious face is going to be blessing us with the trifecta.
Hello, hello. Finally, we can all go to bed. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong part of the script. Hey, Synthetic did a great job bringing it back from the depths of what it seemed like not going to be possible for them to do. It was just a huge back and forth in the overtime, and they finally clutched it out in the most hype of situations. A 1v1 in the post plan. Oh, Slay, tell me more about it.
Well, I mean, I can bring this back, dude. Gun go pew pew, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. A great job from both teams, but I mean, Infinite Overtime got me a little bit scared, not gonna lie, but Synthetic did a great job winning when they needed to. And I mean, 4 rounds in a row from Hostile Actions looks so good for them. I thought they were gonna be able to shut it out, but Synthetic were able to do what they needed to. At the end of the day, it didn't count as much as they wanted to because of the round differential, how that all plays out. But map 2 was a great job by Synthetic.
All right, and we do have an interview coming on now. Who do we have on the line? Please state your name and your phone number.
Hi, Accent here.
That's not a phone number.
You
That's not a
confused
phone
the man.
number. No, but hello, Accent. Welcome to the interview. Oh man, that was a crazy matchup. Are you still feeling all jittery afterwards?
Yeah, we could have won, honestly. Kind of.
Yeah, no, I can understand what you're going through right now, but I'm gonna let the casters ask some of the questions here. Chief, why don't you start it off?
Alrighty, I have to address the elephant in the room instantaneously. Round number 9, that was a Dorm's defense, and you elected to do a full send YOLO rush. Please walk me through that.
I mean, we were kind of desperate, so we had to do something. So we tried, and it ended like this.
Fair enough. Now, you had a strong showing in map number 1 where you guys ended up winning 7-5. Were you prepared to go to a double bracket OT in map number 2?
Actually, no. Especially because Thatcher and Maverick were banned. We didn't expect them to play like well on offense. We thought we would win more defenses, and it was our best map out of the two, and we honestly thought we would be like 5-1 on defense. Didn't go as planned, obviously.
So before I pass it over to Slay, you mentioned that your opponents were able to win well a lot on attack. What do you think contributed to that?
Honestly, miscommunication from our part. It should have been easy because they couldn't open everything. If we were like talking, it would have been easy. But miscommunication paid off for them.
Absolutely. Slay, how about you, man? Let's hear some questions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first off, man, a great job tonight. You guys fought hard. It was a good game all the way through. But I mean, what is the future for you guys here in SCS? What are you guys planning to do as we move on through the season?
A lot of practice and try to grind, win more, and play better as a team, and make the playoffs.
Awesome. I mean, that would be amazing, man, to see you guys work hard and get out there. I think we saw a lot of potential from you guys. I loved what we saw. I mean, those 4 rounds in a row where you guys brought it back, it was 6-3. It looked like it was all over. You took it to overtime. Such a good job from you guys. So I do like what we saw tonight. I think Cost Elections have a lot of great things that they can bring to the table. So I'm excited to see you guys in the future.
Yeah, I think you guys did a great job, and hopefully going forwards we get to see more of you guys, but it looks like we won't be having an analyst desk tonight, unfortunately, so we're going to be ending it around here. And so, Axon, any last words you have to say for not only your team? We need to hear a rally speech now. We need to hear your war cry for the next matchup.
I mean, we'll prove Chief wrong, that's for sure. We'll be up the leaderboard.
Now I know it's late, but you gotta bellow it at the top of your lungs, like, it will show them.
Those are fighting words, my friend. We're gonna have to take this to the parking lot afterwards. This is unacceptable.
Oh man, but going up against the Emergence next week's gonna be really interesting to see. Again, Chief, if you're casting, I swear if it's gonna go in this long of overtime again, I swear.
Well, everybody loves overtime, and they love taking me to overtime, so that's just my caster curse. But, Axon, thank you so much for joining us today. Congratulations on your win. Please go back to your team and celebrate.
All right.
Cheers, bud. Take care.
Thanks.
All right. And with that, that's just about all we have for the streams tonight. It was another great stream as usual. We had 2 sets of amazing casters. We had a whole slew of different analysts, and of course, one okay show host. But overall, thank you very much, Slayzilla and Chief. Thank you very much for being on the later half of this tonight. The teams were amazing, and I think everyone kind of maybe wants to go to bed a little bit. So have a good night.